Welcome to Never Watch Alone, where you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. Yeah, I'm starting with an Irish accent because we are doing one of the most famous Irish mob movies of all time. I'm not doing the accent anymore. The Departed, man. We're finally kicking off with Mob March. It's fucking awesome, man. And joining me, as always, is my good friend and co-host Sean Wheeler. How you doing, Sean? I take it you're very excited for this one.
I am. This is my favorite Scorsese film. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. I caught this 3 or 4 times in theaters. I got the awesome the metal box special edition because it had that really cool logo on it with the gun and the skyline.
Yeah.
It's like that alone made me pay the extra money for that because I'm like, that was always the coolest image from the promo shit. And then they went and put that lame ass cover on it, and I'm like, no. Like, that's what I want on my copy.
I sadly only got the regular DVD. I didn't get like the really cool version that you did. I did find that version probably like a Borders bookstore. You remember Borders books? Yeah, good times, man. But I think I found a copy of that, and I was really eyeballing that, and also I think the first season of Robot Chicken on DVD, which was kind of a cool find for me.
So we're gonna go on a real brief tangent here. The demise of Borders books actually caused Barnes & Noble to have to lax their standards. Because, okay, great, you won the competition, but the problem is there's a lot of demand for shit that you wouldn't carry because it was too edgy for you. Like, they didn't used to carry the Berserk books, but you could find them at Borders. Lo and behold, Borders goes out of business. It ain't long before suddenly Berserk's at Barnes & Noble, which before they're like, it's too violent and sexual, we won't have that. Wrong. There's money to be made.
Blow me. When there's money to be made, they'll do fucking anything. Anything. That's the nature of human beings, is like, whatever the fuck that they're going to be doing, they will do fucking anything if they get a good chunk of change for it.
Everyone's got a price.
Exactly. And, yeah, that's really kind of the case in this movie, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. He never wanted money. He can't do anything with a man like that. So, I'm going to preface, before we get into this, I have a special love for Boston.
Boston?
I have...
Not too far in the yard from the car.
So, that's more New York, but I got you. No, I went to visit at one point because I have some friends who live out there for about a week, and then I spent 5 weeks there a little over a year ago getting a language certification. So I've spent I've spent what you would call a decent amount of time in Boston for someone who's never like fully lived there. Love the city, love the place. It's amazing. I'm also a history buff. I have walked all over it. Like, I walked to a diner in Southie because I heard, I heard great things. And so it's like, I'm very familiar with a lot of the locations in here. I'll have some personal anecdotes popping up and other shit.
Oh yeah, I know all about these.
Oh yeah, but like, I have an despite the fact that a lot of this movie was filmed in New York. But yeah, that's absolute love for the city of Boston. So I'm letting my prejudice be known up front.
Yeah, man. So I really want to know like the whole, because we've both have established, this is like one of your all-time favorites. So do tell like your like kind of history and your and how you're gonna feel like leading up to it, just like what it was like seeing it for the first time, the repeated viewings, memorable, anything that you've been taking away from this.
Well, so I was trying to. So this movie came out shortly after I discovered I was not going to be able to work in film. When I got out of college, I was actually trying to go into film acquisition, and within 6 months of graduating, film acquisition stopped being a thing. The internet basically killed it. It's fine. But that was my original goal, and that really pumped the brakes on everything. This movie came out in, that subsequent year after I graduated. I'm kind of, I'm lost in the ether, but I'm a huge cinephile still. And this movie was just everything I wanted with the perfect cast at the perfect time. I mean, you can't imagine a better cast for this movie. Even when you look at the other names that were floated around for it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it would not have been the same. From such wonderful things as, this is the movie that made me stop detesting Mark Wahlberg. Like, I'll put that out there.
Old Marky Mark and his...
To be fair, if I ever meet him, I'm still going to be like, Marky Mark! Feel it! Like, that will happen. Period. Like, he can punch me, I don't care. I love the guy, but if I meet him, that's my opening.
You probably will get punched knowing him, honestly.
Yeah, it's all right. It's
actually kind of a weird honor to be punched by Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I'll just be like, I got punched by Marky Mark. What's up?
It's kind of like being insulted by Bill Burr, It's kind of a mark of honor.
But, this was, DiCaprio at his best, and honestly, like, what a shame that the studio never pushed for him.
I know, didn't they want to push for Blood Diamond, which came out the same year? Yeah,
they were pushing for Blood Diamond, and they also didn't want to push him over his other co-stars in the movie. And I'm just like,
shut up!
It's like him and Nicholson deliver the best performances. Like,
are you kidding me?
They're the tops.
Okay, so like I was on the Leo should have like an Oscar train long before that was a fucking thing. Because I still look at this movie. I've seen a ton of his movies. I'd seen The Revenant.
Dude, I've been on the Leo should have an Oscar train since Gangs of New York. So.
Yeah, that's very true. Honestly, as soon as he started working with Scorsese, he's like, give that man an Oscar.
Right.
But The Departed, in my opinion, is still probably Leo's best performance, like, of his entire career.
Yeah, and everyone in this movie does a great job. And I think it really... for you want my history, it just came out at the right time with the right thing where it's like, I was struggling very much in life right then. And it was just kind of the right balm for that suffering at that time.
Yeah.
Because it took a while for, trying to get my feet under me I had to relocate cities. I was dealing with a lot of weird life shit. And it was just one of those things that's like, it was so good at the right time. It was just a very welcome, loved distraction from the shit show that was my life. And however, I'm going to take a brief moment here while I've already hijacked the conversation.
No, please.
Because this is so esoteric and I love it so much, but it would take up so much time during our actual recording that I don't want to put it in there.
Okay.
So there's this wonderful line where they're talking about Freud said the Irish are the only people impervious to psychoanalysis.
Yes, I remember that
There
one.
is no recording of Freud having actually said that.
No.
It actually came from one of Freud's fanboys.
Yep.
And this but that Freud fanboy is Anthony Burgess.
Yep.
Author of A Clockwork Orange.
Oh,
so I would like to point out the weird cultural cross connections here are across the board. Also, something that should be pointed out. While this is an adapted screenplay, I know you're aware.
Yes.
Scorsese was not aware that it was the screenplay had been adapted from a Hong Kong film, and he did not watch that movie before making it, which I think are important distinctions, because I know there's a lot, particularly right now, going on with watch the original, don't do remakes. And I don't think this was so much in like a straight, like, I'm remaking this for Western audiences. Like, that was not his intention coming into it.
No.
And this is also the only adapted screenplay from foreign language film to ever win Best Picture.
Yeah.
And I think, it really does stand on its own there. But I thought that's, something that really needs to be brought up, because this movie is brilliant. It has so many crazy references to it. I should note the screenwriter, also his first screenplay credit is Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh yeah,
which is which is one of my absolute, probably it may be my favorite Ridley Scott film. I mean, it's up there. But again, the director's cut, like that theatrical thing, don't pay attention to it. Right. Get to that. So that's a
whole nother podcast, mate.
But yeah, so it's just like, this is just coming out at the right time with the right people, and I don't know, like, if somebody watches this movie who has any love for cinema or acting or mob movies in general,
yeah, dude,
and disregards it, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Real. I mean, this is the movie that actually got me really into the crime genre, because this came out in 2006, so I was still in middle school at this point. But yeah,
God, I'm old.
But one of the cool things is I was visiting my uncle, who had all the expensive, movie channels and whatnot, and the satellite TV and all the cool stuff where it was, commercial free and furthermore uncensored. So he actually was like, "Oh my God," he said, "Fuck." Like, wow. So it's like
over 200 times.
A lot. Not just once, but a lot, actually. So, yeah, so I think I watched it for the first time, I think just about a year after it was released, so this is 2007. And I know that my uncle was like, "Oh, this is a great movie," and I'm like, "Cool, can I watch?" And my uncle's just kind of looking over at my parents like, "They don't need to know." So I watched about half of the movie, had no idea what the hell was going on. But, as I entered high school and I really started, tried to feed my hunger for my education in the language of cinema, and I knew Martin Scorsese was such a key thing, I wanted to check it out in full, and I actually had. This was actually, weirdly enough, my very first digital movie purchase, and I think it's one of the few. Yeah, I think I got it in 2010 or 2009, somewhere in there. But I know I was really conflicted because I wasn't sure if I wanted to get this movie on digital or No Country for Old Men. Both Best Picture winners, both great crime thrillers, both great performances, and both great directors. So I wasn't sure which one to go with, but ultimately,
I would say you made the right choice, simply because I love No Country for Old Men, but I feel this movie has far more rewatchability.
I can't fully agree, but I can agree at the same time.
I'm not saying No Country for Old Men doesn't have rewatchability. I just think it's a little more dense and not as accessible, so that's why I don't think it has quite the level of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I love it. It was really a hard choice, but ultimately the point is I did go with this movie, and yeah, I don't know if I still even have that download since I got the DVD a couple of years later. But I love rewatching this, especially at my old watching it at my old friend from middle school, who I'm still friends with today. This guy named David, who fucking loves this movie. It's one of his personal favorites. So I guess, David, if you're listening, this one's kind of for you. Sort of, but not really. It's also for us and everyone else who loves this fucking masterpiece.
And I will say something to that nature. Another personal thing for me, this is really a bonding movie with me and one of my my oldest friend at this point. He was the first friend I made when I moved to Ohio, my buddy Greg. We're still very good friends, and we both, I one of the screenings I took him to see it with me, and he's a huge fan. We both watch it often. We both reference it to each other all the time.
Yeah.
So, and I think movies like that are very important to people, you know?
Yeah, dude.
When you have a movie that you love that somebody else you love also has a strong connection to, I think that deepens your own love of it.
It does. It really does. Like, one of my favorite stories for, movie bonding was when Kevin Smith was in Japan and was talking to a couple of businessmen that he was working with, he was in town for. They didn't speak a word of English, but they bonded completely through this giant barrier of language between the two of them. They bonded by whistling, the tune from Star Wars to one another. Like,
there you go.
Because when you bond over movies like that, it's transcendental. It needs no language. It needs no verbiage. The connection is still just as strong there, and that's what makes movies magical and why we love them so much.
That is exactly what I was gonna say. Movies are magic, man.
Yes, they are, dude. It's fucking awesome. So, and you know what else is really magical about this movie? This is the movie that inspired my very first movie that I ever made that will never see the light of day because it's so fucking embarrassing. I hate it. I fucking hate it. It's never, it's preserved on a disc that I've hidden away and might actually burn if it resurfaces because oh God, it's so embarrassing. But this was the inspiration for my very first embarrassing film that you will never see. So
they will never see it, but now I really want to see it.
I don't think you. No, I don't. I love you, Sean, but I don't love you that much. As a matter of fact,
we'll get there.
I love you so much, Sean, that I refuse to subject you to such horror. That's how much I love you, Sean, because I don't want you to see it.
I'll make you a deal. If I ever dig out and find, which I'll have to get it transferred because it's still on a little tape.
Oh,
if I
boy.
ever dig out and find my senior high school project piece, which was a silly commercial, and how bad it is, I will send that to you.
Oh, man.
Like, we'll trade god-awful first attempts.
You drive a hard bargain. That's the you know what? That's the other thing for everyone who's listening out there, because I really hope this is a movie, because I know for a fact that I've talked to other filmmakers and worked on movies that worked on other people's movies who also have been inspired by this. I really hope that, for those of you who love movies as much as we do, will go out to go and make your own movie with your friends. I don't care how bad it is. Seriously. That's the nature of it. You just have to fucking do it. Because probably the greatest advice ever to young filmmakers was given by Stanley Kubrick. And he just said, go make a movie. Whatever movie at all. That's really the only advice you can give to young filmmakers, is to just pick up a camera and make whatever film they want to do. It could be serious, it could be silly, it can be bad, it can be surprisingly good. Who knows?
No, but I completely agree. It's very similar to, there's a writer who I'm a big fan of, Neil Gaiman, and he has this advice that says, finish things, write more. And whatever medium you're in, whether you're doing film, writing, whatever it be, do the thing, learn from doing the thing, do the thing again.
Rinse and repeat. That's
exactly.
And literally, that's all they ever do. Really, is they fuck around and they learn. It's not exactly finding out, because really the finding out process is not actually in this.
Well, I mean, sometimes there's finding out. I mean, look at Kevin Smith. How long did it take him to learn his fucking lenses?
That's also okay. So there is look. The point is, as an artist, whatever that is, fuck around, find out some things, but ultimately just keep fucking around. And maybe maybe if you fuck around enough, someone will think you fuck around good and put you and give you some awards and some accolades, and maybe you'll go down in history. Maybe. Who knows? Just the point is, keep fucking around, because that's really what we do here.
I just want to point out, Ed Wood. You can still go down in history without any accolades. Ed Wood.
That's very true. Sex Pistols never won a goddamn thing, and look at what they've become.
Terrible example, but I understand.
Not a Sex Pistols fan?
Okay. I will put this as easily as possible. They were formed by a man who owned a store to sell his brand. They are literally a corporate punk band. That was their intent. That was their start. The guy owned an alternative fashion store and got a band together to help sell his shit. Johnny Rotten is the worst thing to ever happen to punk.
Okay, Johnny Rotten is kind of dumb.
Yeah, sorry, but the hill I'm going to die on. Original New York punk fan for life, deeply in the culture, love a lot of the bands influenced by them and that came out of them from England, such as, The Clash and Susie and all those people, but fuck the Sex Pistols.
Well, guess it really goes to show that my rock and roll history has gotten exceptionally rusty since college.
It also has to do with the fact that you probably weren't aware that your co-host is a psycho fan of original New York punk and has read countless memoirs.
Oh, that's very true, too. See, we know all kinds of shit, not just movies. But that said, maybe we should start... maybe we should start this, because honestly this is because we already knew going into this was going to be a long one, but either way it's going to be a fun ride, I assure you. So
yes,
that said, I should probably I am so bad at running this show.
Did you not have it pulled up? Did you make a faux pas? Not on board?
Maybe. Well, I'm not sure where it's actually. Do you know where you can stream this?
It's streaming on Netflix.
Oh, it is on Netflix.
Right
okay.
now, yep.
Sweet. Okay, hopefully it still stays there. And I imagine that was like a part of a deal for doing The Irishman. He's like, I'll do The Irishman, and I will gladly take this blank check, but you got to stream my other movies on there, and I'm sure Netflix is like, sure.
Honestly, The Departed has been on and off Netflix probably more than any other streaming service. Like, most often, I don't have to dig out my copy of it, because it's usually on Netflix.
Well, that's. Well, either way, you can. There's the point is just keep looking around. I know you can probably purchase it on Amazon Prime, Vudu, YouTube. Various parts of the internet.
It's a Best Picture winner. It's available.
It's going to be available somewhere. But either way, if you also have the Blu-ray or the DVD, or if you really want to cut deep, the HD DVD. Remember that? Remember that shit?
Yeah, because my buddy still has a whole bunch of them because he was on board that train until they lost.
That must have been like, getting all the Dreamcast merch before PlayStation destroyed them.
Well, but that's just it. He's an Xbox fanboy. So he bought the HD DVD add-on for his 360 and was going that route.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. The same friend who loves The Departed with me, my buddy Greg.
How about that? Oh, shit. Well, if you've got a copy, wherever you can find it, be it hard copy, digital copy, streaming service, or, alternative internet means, get ready to press play because we are starting this departed train. This train is departing right now in 3, 2, 1, click. And Warner Brothers logo.
Which, given that, I'm kind of surprised this isn't on HBO Max yet, but I'm sure as soon as rights revert, it'll go there.
It's going to be all over the place, man. But again, honestly, it shouldn't be that hard to find a movie like this because it's so fucking popular with people,
Yeah, and it could also be that they may have only had the distribution rights and may not have the actual rights.
Yeah, it goes all over the place.
I
Some
love
years
that they
ago.
put some years ago here so that, like, you don't timeline stitch it down.
Yeah, it keeps it a touch of timelessness. That's a great opening line, man. Love it.
This entire opening sequence, like, literally from here until he gets out of jail, I think is one of the strongest opening 20 minutes of any movie ever.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can think of other movies just with really stronger openings, but I'm not trying to detract of how strong this one is, though.
Well, but that's it. Other ones shock you, or they do something. This movie perfectly in 20 minutes sets up all the important players.
Oh, in like the first 20 minutes, okay.
Right, and they do it immaculately.
You have to take it. And of course, it wouldn't really be a Scorsese crime movie without "GimMe Shelter" by the Rolling Stones.
Yep.
You know, apparently, like he and Mick Jagger are like such besties that they actually that Scorsese. Did you know that Scorsese actually directed one of their concert films?
Yep.
Shine a Light. Yeah, which is actually a pretty good concert, actually. I wonder if this is like one of the few locations that is in Boston. You know?
There are some. I will point certain ones out. I'm not too super familiar with this one. I didn't go seeking this one out, but
because I do like the fact that, you know, even though the like ultimately this entire movie is supposed to take place in the mid-2000s, it's mostly because of the telephones and whatnot, and this is supposed to be like the 80s, but I love the choice in the location here because it does. It feels like it's kind of brand new, but at the same time, I can kind of because this location shows up later on, and it looks like it hasn't fucking changed.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you talk about the phones, if you're going to be using burners, you're not using smartphones. So the phone things, you'd still be using very similar phones like that if you were going to be doing shady shit today.
That is, yeah. I also love how they light Jack Nicholson in this bit right here. Where he's constantly, mostly in the shadows, where you don't
until this
exactly
wonderful upcoming moment.
That moment, which is preceded by a blooper, but I don't care because it's so fucking strong of a reveal that it doesn't matter. And Scorsese rightly has that instinct. He has these weird instincts as a director that normally you should not do, like embracing the technical imperfections for the sake of performance and cinematic language. You know, the fact that he'll keep in a blooper, an obvious one, but it's to enhance the right take. Like, I feel so strongly about this take that I'm going to overlook the fact that there's like a camera bump or, you know, it's a little out of focus or things like that, you know?
Right.
Oh, and I also love this cut right here.
Oh, it's so good.
Thelma Schoonmaker is the best editor who's ever walked the face of the earth. For real. And pow. Damn!
But
shit. Oh, she fell funny. Francis, I really think you should see somebody.
And he's holding the saw and the hatchet.
Right?
It's like, oh God.
It's just like, dude, you're the one who needs to see somebody? Okay, right here. You can see he's got a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah.
And then when it cuts to his frontal face, it's gone. But again, it doesn't matter because in his words, what's the difference? Ah, see what I did there? And I also love that cut.
I would love to point out.
Yeah.
Is the fact that actually we'll get back to it. So right here, the what they have on the boards back there for the head and the mushrooming, are from Kennedy.
Yeah,
from Kennedy getting shot.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up? Oh yeah, push. And which is really ironic considering like 90% of the characters in this movie die from a shot to the head.
Right.
So, you ever have a weird headcanon where you feel like, Matt Damon's character from Good Will Hunting just had a really dark turn with Minnie Driver and became a police officer instead?
I mean, no, but so when I was staying in Boston for 5 weeks, I stayed on Beacon Hill. So very familiar with that park, very familiar with where they are right now. Gosh, I love Anthony Anderson in this.
Right. And he's not in this movie for very long either. But either way, regardless, anytime he's on screen, he's got some really great shit. Oh, it's funny, but it's true.
Yep. I should point out, the entire time I stayed in Boston, I only encountered 2 people with strong Boston accents.
Oh, really?
So they kind of overdo it a bit. That's all I'm saying.
I guess it's really to play up the setting and whatnot.
Well, and the origins of the people.
Yes, very true. Because, mobsters are really all about roots.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you actually read the script to The Departed?
I have not.
It's really witty, and one of my favorite passages is when he opens up the box here. According to the script, it's like, look, he opens up a box, and we don't know, as the audience, we don't know what the hell it's supposed to be. It could be a picture of him fucking his grade school teacher. It could be a fucking dildo. It doesn't matter. We don't know. That's what it relatively says verbatim in the script. And I love that kind of sass in the script itself, because people forget that, people had to write this shit down to communicate for a filmmaker to interpret into, like, a living, breathing film.
So, I love the fact that Matt Damon, to prepare for this role,
this shot.
Rode around with cops, went on an actual drug raid with them. Like, he really got his hands in it.
Yeah, man. Okay, so that iris shot where it starts with him, and it irises out to the Stades building. I can't remember where I've seen that before, because I know Scorsese's being crass with his encyclopedic knowledge of film.
Yeah. I mean, it's been used many times, but where it was first done, I'm not sure. Do you know where Mark Wahlberg got the inspiration for Dignam?
Oh, please tell. Please inform us.
He based it on the cop who kept busting him when he was growing up in Boston, being a little delinquent. He straight up based it on the cop who kept busting him.
It's kind of like with Joe Pesci basing that. What's so fucking funny about me? About some dude who harassed him. Like, It's kind of the same deal. I guess that's kind of what makes acting really great in a Scorsese movie, is when they base it off of something horrible that happened to them, and they can cathartically make it into something iconic for us film lovers.
Yeah. So Sheen came onto this movie simply because he'd never worked with Scorsese and he wanted to.
Yeah, man.
Also, half of the budget of this film went to the actors.
Oh, I believe it. Seriously, because it's got some major star power, not just Nicholson and DiCaprio and Damon, but you also got like Alec Baldwin and Ray Winstone and Robert Wahlberg's on here too.
So you understand why you find bodies near the airport, right?
Yeah. It's by the shoreline, isn't it?
Kind of, but it's more because planes taking off hide gunshot sounds.
Yep, that's another good point. which we got to actually kind of see in the opening of the movie.
Yep.
I forget how much Marky
right
Mark
here
got
is
to...
one of,
Oh, yeah, this.
one of the best lines of the whole movie.
Just... Oh, this is so bad.
Right, but...
It's funny, though.
And then it's looking up like,
oh shit. I really want to know how much Marky Mark. I'm just gonna call him Marky Mark for the rest of the show, because that's all we can. That's all I'm ever gonna really see. Just feel it. But I really want to know how much he got to improvise, because some of his insults are kind of fucking amazing. Probably my absolute favorite is like who put the fucking cameras here? Oh, who the fuck are you? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. That's one of my favorite.
And here we get Baldwin showing up perfect in this role.
Oh my god,
perfect.
He is such a pig. And you know what's really sad? There are totally people like this working in law enforcement. That's the really shitty part. Oh god.
I mean, he's a pig, but he's about his business. He's not just being an ass to be an ass. Like, he's like, I'm trying to stop a kingpin.
That's true. The Joker. Jack Napier. I don't know how I don't know what's going through his mind, but the way that Scorsese moves the camera and cuts to it is impeccable.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, the camera work in this film is...
Well, he does these crazy sweeping, like, wide crane shots for only like a couple of seconds, just to really whip and pan around to get to that certain mood that he goes for. And it's crazy the amount of resources he gets for, just a few inserts of frames,
I love this.
Oh, yeah. That's one. Hawthorne.
I like how he's so angry. He's about ready to murder somebody right here.
Seriously, though, like, okay, so we mentioned that, Baldwin is like a pig, but he's about his business, right?
Yeah.
Marky Mark here, he has no fucks for anyone or anything but himself.
No, but he has fucks for
Queenan.
For Queenan, and he has fucks about what he's about. Like, he's an ass, but he's an effective ass.
He's the kind of guy who's like, look, it's like one of those things where, like, do you want to work with the nicest person who's bad at their job? Or do you want to work with a fucking asshole who's really good at their job? Yeah. I'll work with this guy any day.
Exactly.
But I really do want to know how much he got to improvise, because some of the insults, man, they're just golden.
And I mean, nobody messes up their accents in this movie. Like, the people who are doing Boston accents, fucking kill them.
No. Looking back, like, revisiting this, I always tend to forget to really feel the tragedy for Leo's character. Because really, he was just destined to be a criminal.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying so fucking hard to do the right thing. And the fact that he's constantly under pressure and constantly in the thing that he fears the most. Because I think Leo described his character as having a 24-hour, 365, we never close, constant anxiety attack and panic attack. So, oh yeah, this department.
But these shots from the windows are not real. They're actually from the top of Suffolk University, and it's just compiled to make it look like it's from the window.
Yeah, man. Well, that's just movie making for you.
Exactly. It's the magic.
But it serves the purpose because, you know, as soon as you see that look on his face, oh, hey, it's that guy. He's in a whole bunch of other Scorsese movies. He's I think you remember if you ever saw The Wolf of Wall Street, he was the FBI agent that prosecuted Jordan Belfort in that movie.
Okay.
Because I think he was like, look, no matter what, this is an open and shut case. I'm going to win. We could have our fucking dicks out in the middle of the court. No one would give a fuck. I'm going to win. So, here are your options.
And right here, you see that, you know, Costello has enough awareness to know that this was the wife of somebody who was, you know, associated with his family. Because it's like Jackie's brother's wife.
Yeah.
So he's still, I mean, that shows he's a criminal, but he's a criminal who still cares about his people.
Yep.
Even minorly.
And that's just enough to get him in there. Oh, wouldn't that be a wonderful a wonderful add-on for a wonderful bonus to have? Tax-free, bitches.
Right.
Oh, shit. Moment of truth.
And now he's got his full Boston accent going.
Yeah. And now, the main theme of the movie that got everyone into Dropkick Murphys, including me.
Hey. I was into Dropkick Murphys when they had their original lead singer, bastard.
Well, hey, man, I was in middle school. Like, I wasn't edgy yet.
Yeah, okay.
Todd, and
yeah,
we are...
Like, I've been on board since before Do or Die. Like, I'm that early.
There's the X. 18 minutes in, and we finally get our title drop, man. And it's a great... That's a great way to tell you that we are in. Because that decision to go into jail... That was his. That's the catalyst event.
But I loved right there that scene, just that short exchange.
Yeah.
It sets up more about his cousin. It also shows like the prison dynamic. Like he's ready to fight if it's about to go down. Like.
Oh yeah, and of course again with the editing, cut. Oh, so I love how he does that.
When I visited Boston, I tried so hard to find a Red Sox hat like that, and they don't have any right now.
Boo.
Like, I think it's, I wanted that exact hat so bad.
Well, if I ever find it, I'll be sure to get it for you. Are you a Red Sox fan?
I always said I'm a sympathizer because I was very sympathetic of how long they'd gone without winning. I'm glad they pulled it around. I'm not a fan of baseball overall, but I've always said I'm a Red Sox sympathizer.
Gotcha. I'm from Chicago, and my family have been lifelong Cubbies fans, so yeah.
And my friend Greg, who I worked with before, is a huge Cubs fan, so I've also had sympathy for them. Like I don't care about baseball, but they're the two teams I like to see win because they've been so long suffering.
Oh, I know, right? Especially the Cubs. Jesus. Finally, they got to win it all in 2016. One of the few good things about 2016. Man, I just love the production design on this. Like, do you notice like the dirty things of laundry and the lived in kind of stuff that.
Well, right, but like still got an American flag flying.
Yeah,
but it's a little filthy. You know, the dirty side of the American dream, making fast money.
Exactly. And honestly, this reminds me of some of the neighborhoods that my grandmother was in, or at least that she used to be.
And here's what's funny: they have him giving this line denigrating Puerto Ricans, and he's Puerto Rican. That actor.
I know, right? You used to be a cop. It's a used to be a cop, right? I'm not a cop. Says God. Man, those cuts that they do with not just in terms of, from one scene or another, but it's also the way they cut off the sound as well. Seriously, Thelma Schoonmaker is probably the best editor that I know of. She has taught me so much about editing just by watching the films, not even just like in the various interviews and documentaries I've seen her in. Oh God, no. This is such nope.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh boy. And ow! God. Now I also love what Frenchie here says to him. He's like, "Look, that's almost a guy you can hit, but it's not quite a guy you can hit. Okay? It's all so don't fucking hit him." I love that kind of dynamic in a bar.
Yup.
Don't fucking hit him. I love the little sniff.
Yep.
Damn. Hey, you remember payphones, kids?
Right.
I'm just looking in the back. Oh, and this little bit here where he's like, cranberry juice. And he's like, dude, that's so the reason why I hit him in the first place.
Right. I love this right here. This is such a good...
Oh, what? Oh, fucking what?
So...
Damn!
I want to talk... I love Frenchie's performance in this movie, but he did not get on with Jack Nicholson, but they still have such great on-screen charisma, just shows their professionalism.
Yeah. Because honestly, Frenchie is probably the most terrifying character in this whole movie.
Okay. Right here.
Yeah.
This camera work blows my mind.
Oh wait, is it the zoom dolly?
Yeah. Oh, so good. I think it's right here. It's about to come up.
I think it's after he's talking about the microprocesses.
Yeah.
Well, there's seriously no anti-Bush administration politics here, right? None whatsoever. This is totally not a commentary on the Bush administration. W, not HW.
And you have the name drop from the film.
Yep. Well, we also had it earlier. It's like, blessed are the departed, at the funeral. So we also had it there, too.
Right here.
Yeah, this. And does it again with him. You know, that's actually almost borderline Michael Bay movement. You know,
yeah. But done right, it's amazing.
It really is. I mean, and there's always motivation behind those camera movements. Because that's honing in on the point where I think that's the point where we kind of go into Matt Damon's head space, and when they do those camera movements those are the moments where he's truly listening in on. It's as if the camera is leaning in on him. Okay, this mom knows what's up. She's a fucking straight shooter, am I right?
Right.
And she also knows who not to fuck with.
Right.
You fucking just marked me, man. You had me marked. Oh, shit, he's got a tail.
2 tails.
Yep.
And here she comes.
Oh, the wonderful, wonderful Vera Farmiga? Farminga?
Yes.
Farminga.
Farminga.
Vera Farminga, yes. Thank you. Wow, I'm terrible. So I'm actually curious because obviously this is one of her better roles. But what are some of the other roles that you've seen Vera in? Because I think the last thing that I saw her in was Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Give me a second. I've seen her in a lot, but I'm not recalling off the top of my head. Let me bring some things up. Oh yeah, she was in Up in the Air, which was an amazing.
Oh, with George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one yet. I hear it's really fucking good.
It's really good. That's probably the one I remember the most. Besides this,
oh, this shot right here coming up, I love. For some reason, this just gets me, where it's the sideways angle, where you take advantage of the letterbox format and really make him look tall.
Yeah.
For some reason, that kind of angle, that almost feels like, a comic book graphic novel kind of angle in a weird way.
I gotcha.
Bye. Now, in all fairness, that's just Boston driving. I shit you not. Okay, I've been
I did not like driving through Boston.
I've literally been all over the continental and non-continental U.S. I've been to Alaska. The only places that I haven't been are Las Vegas and the New England states. Otherwise, and Hawaii. Otherwise, I've been all over the states. I've driven all over the states. I've been driven in L.A. I've driven in Manhattan. I've driven in Chicago and Philadelphia, all over. Boston, by far, is the worst fucking place to drive. And I'll get to that a little bit more after the scene because I love the use of music in this scene. This is Scorsese at his finest when he uses the needle drop. Is the no. When the music is elevated and it's all just telling him, you shouldn't be doing that. No. Ow!
I love this. Just
damn! The outburst, the randomness.
Oh no! This isn't random. That is straight planned.
Oh, I know it is, but it feels so spontaneous and so almost accidental, and which is kind of a signature thing with Scorsese. And I also this dessert. The one thing that I really love about Vera's performance in this movie is, in the photography, is that I don't know what it is, but Vera has never looked better because this movie really knew how to really make her eyes pop, you know? Because she looks gorgeous. Oh, and this scene here.
Where he's checking out the nurse. It's showing their different levels of where they are in their conquests.
Yeah, I think
what they're feeling sexually.
I think in the context of the script, I think it was written where it's like, yeah, he looks at a really young, nice nurse patching him up. In another lifetime, he probably would have asked her out on a date. Not this one. Which, you know, in all fairness, that's totally where it is, and I love that he kept that little scene.
This right here, though, baller fucking move. Like, who says I want to see you again?
What a cocky asshole!
It is, but it's a great way to put him off, like to put him on the back foot. You know?
Yeah.
Get him off guard.
Oh yeah, and this.
And
is
again,
the whole thing.
we talked about this in the beginning with the psychoanalysis.
Yep.
Check the pre-show.
But no, what? So yeah, I'm just like always blown away whenever Vera's on screen because it's. I know it's 90% of the photography, but she has never looked better, in my opinion.
Oh, I mean but everyone looks good in this movie. They make people look amazing.
That is true, but for some reason, it's just Vera that always stood out because they know how to light their eyes, and usually when I'm. You know,
and that right there, though, that attitude that cops have, so many cops have that attitude, and it's right there why it's like all cops are bastards.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to the violence with the guys in the restaurant.
Hold on, though, but here the first encounter.
Oh, dude, the look! Just watch Leo's performance in this, where he's sipping his cranberry juice and he's looking so like he's out. I almost feel like these looks that he's giving should immediately out him, you know, because he's just like, no, you know, I'm not suspicious at all, not suspicious at all. But it's also the awkward intimidation. Oh, dude, Frenchie, seriously. He is the scariest guy in the movie, I think. Even scarier than Jack Nicholson. Just because he is so at ease with the intensity around him.
You know he's very much based off of Whitey Bulger's second in command, who had a habit of killing his lovers so they couldn't rat him out. Like when a relationship would end, he would just kill them rather than break up because it's easier that they have no dirt on him.
That's messed up, yo.
And that's why they have that reference about like she got reliable.
Yeah, she got reliable. That's a terrifying line.
Yeah, I mean they never use the term Whitey Bulger, but this movie screams Whitey Bulger.
For real. I mean that's what Jack Nicholson primarily based his performance on. I love that leopard skin tie.
Oh yeah.
Because I know he basically was allowed to do whatever the hell he wanted to do just to add to the unpredictability. And not just like the weird suggestions and whatnot. I imagine he also had a hand in like his wardrobe. Like that leopard tie had to have been a Jack Nicholson thing.
I know this is not Nicholson's last film, but to me this is his swan song.
You know what? I can see that. Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit. Because man, he is up there now. Is he actually officially retired yet?
Oh yeah, he's been officially retired for some years now.
Okay,
he did some movies after this, but to me, this is his last grand, amazing performance.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to refute that either.
And he was reluctant to do this at first, but he's like, he wanted to play a villain again, and he met with like Scorsese and DiCaprio, and he's like, I'm in.
You know, because, okay, how would you have felt if this was Al Pacino instead? Because I know that was Scorsese's first choice.
How? I don't see how you can have Pacino played an Irish mobster. I just cannot see it.
Probably not, but honestly, it is. Oh, this bit here where, ow!
Oh.
Okay, did you notice that if you look closely when he slams it down, they skip a couple of frames when they edit. That's something that I've noticed, and I love that they do that to accentuate the hits. They take just like 1 or 2 frames out, just to, because the whole rationale is that if you're moving that fast or if you're that violent, you'd be skipping frames in real life too. So it becomes like a hyper realistic kind of thing. Like I think, ooh, ow. Shit. Look at the insanity on his face. Christ. Oh, shit.
I like the start of this. He flips off a few bills and then he just
leaves the whole thing.
Leaves the whole roll. He's right.
Oh, fuck it.
And he looks so pleased with himself.
I know, right?
I use this line so often.
This IRA motherfucker in my bar.
Also, the follow-up line.
Oh, I know. The follow-up bit is great. How's your mother? We all are. Act accordingly.
So good.
That's so good. Shit. Man, that cut. I don't know what it is where just him wiping his face. But yeah, you're totally right, because he only did 2 movies after this, which were The Bucket List and How Do You Know? Which I hear aren't that great of movies, to be honest. Like
Bucket List is worth a watch just because of the caliber of the actors in it.
Yeah, and then How You Know is just like, whatever. But this really was like truly his last great hoorah.
Yes.
On this cut here, just how fast it is. Boom.
And it shows it, as I said, it shows exactly though, like that's all it needed to be like, we now know who this is supposed to be reflecting in the real world.
Yep. Shit. Oh, the way the cuts over this, man. Apparently Marty had a really hard time editing this just because of the content. And it's crazy because he's like, look, I like this movie a lot, but man, was it a pain in the ass to edit just based on the content and whatnot. And it's so strange that he's like, I didn't really want to do a whole lot of promos or interviews or press beforehand because I didn't think anyone would want to see it. Guess what?
Do you know that the final cut of this movie wasn't even decided on until a week before it hit theaters?
Oh, yeah. He was
that
doing
late, whew.
Well, he was also, because Marty is just so self-conscious when it comes to the editing process that, Jesus Christ, that look from French always gets me. But he is so self-conscious about it that he will constantly be retooling it right up until the very end. I think one of the most famous examples was when he did Goodfellas. He was editing it right up until the premiere. And even as the premiere went and we got to see the final cut, which is a brilliant cut, even people sitting next to Scorsese while they were watching it, he's constantly just kicking himself like, oh, I should have done this. Like, oh, this wasn't right. Oh, I needed to put this like one frame out there.
Right.
Like, because he is so precise and sensitive in the editing process. And I think Thelma is the one who really knows how to ground him in that. Because, sometimes Thelma would get a list of instructions on how to cut something. She'll cut it together exactly the way that he described, and he'll look at it and he's like, well, "What the hell is this? This isn't what I want. This is all garbage." And so they just throw the whole thing out and they just start from scratch, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And that is the working process between an editor and a director, And Jesus, seriously, French. Does he have, okay, I actually got to remind myself because I think it's a little late in this screening to notice it. Okay, that the hand, Jesus, it's so casual. Fuck.
And it doesn't even faze her.
Nope. But I actually want to know, does Frenchie actually blink in this movie? It's a little late in the screening to tell, but honestly, I don't know if he blinks throughout this entire movie, and that's just what makes him so fucking creepy. And that whole bit where he's just like lost in thought, and I don't even want to know what's going on in his head, you know? Oh shit. Oh my god. Fuck, man, these people are hardcore. Also, why would you get rid of the wire like that? Wouldn't you want to like pocket that shit and just like burn it later?
No, you want no evidence on yourself. It'll sink, you're fine.
But wasn't that in like their pool?
No, that's in the river.
Oh, it was in the river. Okay, that makes sense now. Because I always thought that because it's so fast and the water's like kind of clear, I always thought he threw it into the pool. Which I'm like, dude, no. You're just that is so bad. You're just leaving evidence.
Yeah, I mean that's either the river or like the bay or the Atlantic. I mean it's on the water.
Okay, because that makes a lot more sense now. That's was one of the parts of the movie where I'm like, wait, what the fuck? the end note on this scene is just amazing.
Yeah.
And I really want to know what the purpose.
Such a cop answer. This is perfect.
I think you are a cop, my son.
The bowl of ice.
What is the bowl of ice? I want to know what the hell is the reasoning behind this.
De-stressing.
Okay. That's a new one. That's usually how I would keep myself awake at night, honestly. Oh, shit. What the hell? Oh, knock the dude's teeth out. You know, I think the cigarettes are the reason why his teeth popped out so easily. Because did you see those teeth?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, this line here is one of my favorite lines in the movie. This is America. You don't make money, you're a fucking douchebag. Now what are you gonna do? I love that. That is America right there. This is America. You don't make money, you're a fucking douchebag. So what are you gonna do? Make more money. That's the spirit. Yeah.
I love it.
And he's like, so? What? Whatever. Well, you know what a bookie is, right? Well, he's not wrong, but still, I think that's the wrong street lingo that you wanted there, Tiger. Yeah, you looking at him, bitches.
Right.
Oh, I do like this little system here. Ask for Mikey, just Mikey. You ask for Mikey because there is no Mikey. And we'll call you. Jesus. Just, can you imagine being Leo DiCaprio in a car with two people like that? No, seriously, put Leo in your shoe. Put yourself in Leo's shoes. In a car with those two murderers.
Well, but, I mean, yes. I mean, like, the character, yeah, that's... I mean, no wonder he's having always panic attacks. However, Leo does point a highlight of his career was working with Nicholson and the scenes he did with Nicholson.
Oh yeah,
so
dude, are you kidding me?
I mean, how could it not be?
Exactly. Like, dude, it's like if I was, attached to direct, Al Pacino's last movie, I would be thrilled. Al Pacino is one of my favorite actors. I just point him out just because I love his energy and I love his bravado and I love the fact that he can pull out something amazing in absolute shit. Seriously, if you have I think one of the worst movies that I actually had to sit down and watch was Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill. Al Pacino is in the movie, and he is by far the best part of the entire movie. I can't articulate it, but he actually makes me like, hey, maybe I can. You know what? I'll stick around for the ending just for Al Pacino. Yeah.
What I love about this scene is that, like, here he's got a new effective member of his group, and he's trying to get him out. Like, he still cares enough about him to be like, you have options. Do shit, man.
That is true. Because in all fairness, he's not exactly a bad guy, sort of.
And there is no way, at this period of time, you can't address this issue if you're making a movie involving Boston.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Isn't it also kind of implied that Matt Damon's character was abused as a kid through the Catholic Church?
I didn't catch that.
Well, I know some people have had that interpretation, that's how, he was able to get such a strong father figure through Jack Nicholson. There's a lot of... I don't really buy it myself.
Yeah, I think they might also take it because of his impotence, but he decided to be impotent because he wanted to be a direct reflection of Costello, being Costello's a sex maniac, and so it made sense for Colin to be impotent.
Exactly.
As a dark reflection. Okay, I would like to point out the fact that this is the second Best Picture film that actor has been in now.
Oh, what was the other one? I'm lost.
He played Stephen the Crazy Man in Braveheart.
Oh my God, you're totally right.
Yep.
Holy shit, that's right.
I love it. I love, there's so much depth in this movie of talented actors that people don't even really remember from some of their best roles.
Oh yeah, or what was there was one of the other members of Costello's crew. It's not this guy. It's the one.
Oh, the skinny who was in Shawshank.
Yeah, exactly. He was.
He gets shot later.
Yeah, he was the leader of the sisters that fucking raped poor Andy Dufresne.
Yep. Or kept trying to.
Yeah, that was such a great movie, but man, that's messed up. That's prison life for you. That's it. And I love this. He has to look up to the camera. Oh, shit. He's like... you would think... Can't, the other guys behind him, can't they hear what he's saying to him?
No, he turned everything off.
Yeah, I know, but how fucking incriminating is that, though?
Not, because they get to the right place even though it's already on fire. You see my point? He gets them out, but he also gets the information. So they were too late, but it shows that he made a good play.
I see.
It's a brilliant move.
Oh, boy. The codes, I swear, for between these people. Also, I love the stylized on how quickly everything lights up.
Yeah.
Just voosh.
Well, they put accelerant on that floor.
Yep. but it's all for the sake of the visual communication.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stylization is always it should always trump realism if you want to convey an idea for story.
But see, right there again, why people hate cops? Oh, we're gonna lie about where we surveilled them so we can get a warrant.
Okay, the editing here. Watch this. Just how it's literally just frames.
Yep.
Damn. It's so fast, but it conveys so much.
I love the fact that they have she's
the
eating
banana,
a banana during the impotence scene.
Yep. And of course, he just tries to brush it off.
He's like, I'm not going to talk about this.
Yeah. Also, I hate to say it, but that explosion was super CG. As is some of the blood, like the blood squib effects. Like, I know that's a product of like the mid 2000s and whatnot, like the computer generated squibs and explosions and whatnot. Because I remember this is actually like on one of the first film projects that I worked on. I had access to like action effects and whatnot, where we could, and they showed us demo tapes of what you could do with it. Like you can make cars explode, you could add squibs, you could add blood effects and whatnot, and we were like, oh, that sounds so cool. And looking back, it's like, what the fuck were we thinking?
So, I love this interaction here, but something I want to point out, Vera actually had her script of her, like her character's parts and such. She consulted with a psychiatrist about this, and the psychiatrist was like, this psychiatrist does literally everything wrong. Like,
well, in all fairness, that's kind of the point. Okay,
right.
Seriously, dude, the editing with this is some of my favorite of the movie. And you can tell he's a dad with a kid. Like, he doesn't even need to all the baby toys on there is the visual way to avoid the cliche of like, no, please, I have a kid.
Right.
Like, you don't have to don't say, show it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't know if you noticed, but when he gets shot in the head, there's like a brief freeze frame for it where the blood goes out.
Yeah.
And again, it's like little touches in the frames themselves that sell so much of the violence in the movie. Because Scorsese does movie violence unlike anyone else I know. And he's probably my biggest influence for showing movie violence. Because it's real, it's dirty, it's stylized, and it's very cinematic. I really do genuinely wonder, because I look at Leo DiCaprio's eyes throughout this movie. He constantly looks like he hasn't slept in like 48 hours.
Yeah.
I really want to know, is that a makeup thing, or did he like actually like, because let's be honest, Leo DiCaprio would be the person who would be like, try to not sleep a whole lot to get that look and effect for himself.
Yeah.
Because it's seriously especially in the moments where he doesn't have any dialogue and he's just sitting there acting and internalizing. That's when I think when it's the moments of pause where Leo's performance really gets to shine, because it's the looks on his face that convey more to everything than his frantic ravings. Is Marky Mark being a little too hard on this guy?
Not really.
Because Jesus Christ. Now that felt a little.
I don't think it's him intentionally being hard on him. I think he just has this very intense sense of this is the hierarchy and fuck you.
Okay. But I don't know. I'm just like, dude, can you like lay off for like 10 minutes, man? This guy is basically in the social equivalent of a nuclear weapons depot. So I'm actually curious because spoilers, I guess, but we know that Costello's actually an informant for the FBI. Right. But does that justify anything that he does?
Well, no, and you also have to think about it particularly. It's based off of Bulger, and Bulger's relationship with the FBI was almost entirely abusive. He ratted to the FBI to get them to take out his competitors, and then basically gave them absolute shit, but the FBI agent kept covering for him by getting tips from other people and attributing them to Bulger.
Yeah, wasn't he convicted because of that? That kind of shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's he literally only used it to get rid of rivals.
And you know what? That's essentially what Costello's doing too, because he's like, he's like, well, shit. No, that's like a license to murder almost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of curious in the world of this movie. Who's the FBI handler to Costello?
What do you mean? It's the guy in the meetings with them. They show it in the pictures. It's the same guy, FBI guy, who was in the meeting with the police.
Oh, Alec Baldwin's character?
No, the FBI guy who's in there with Baldwin's character.
Oh, the one that Matt Damon pops in the end, right?
No.
No?
It's the guy who was like, do you have any, he's asking, do you have anyone in with Costello right now? Maybe, maybe not, maybe fuck yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's that guy.
Okay. I'm surprised he's not a more prominent character in the movie.
Doesn't need to be.
I guess you're right. Because, really, what's the point? Because the only way you could really expand on that is if they ever did a sequel, which I'm told that they were kind of sort of interested in doing a sequel to this, kind of like the Infernal Affairs movies.
I would like to point out, since
yes.
we're on the topic of Whitey Bulger, it was somebody alleged that they saw him watching this in a movie theater in San Diego, which may or may not have been true considering he was eventually caught in Santa Barbara.
Oh, shit,
California.
Really?
So, yeah.
Did he have an opinion about it? I'm actually curious. Did he ever make a statement?
I don't know.
Okay, because I'd be interested in if he'd be like, this movie's fucking hilarious or something like that.
Coming up is one of my favorite non-dialogue acting delivery moments in this movie.
Oh, shit. Yeah, for real, she does do all the wrong moves in this.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a bad thing.
Right here it comes.
Oh, yeah, this.
Her body reaction
yeah.
right there, it's so subtle, it's so good, just like
yeah, that's just that's great acting and great direction, man.
I love it.
Oh, and this operation, this whole bit here, man. So is Alec Baldwin so let's see, Alec Baldwin, Martin Sheen, and Leo DiCaprio are probably like the only good cops, quote unquote, in this movie. Is that actually no? I think Queenan's the only good cop. in the movie. I think.
Yeah.
The only really good cop in the movie. And, of course, naturally he's rewarded by getting fucking offed in probably the most horrifying way.
So the Alec Baldwin character crotch grab is just like, wow.
Oh, yeah. He's got to be on cocaine or something. He's on something right now because he can, or maybe he's just so turned on by the idea that he's finally going to get nail Costello because it reminds me of that moment in The Big Short with Ryan Gosling. He's like, fucking jacked, I'm jacked to the tits. So, what a great cover.
And here we now have a Shakespeare quote.
Yes. So I guess Martin Sheen's character knows fucking Shakespeare, huh?
Uh-huh.
Man, his subtle hand wave.
There is a part here I'm going to want your take on because my
Yes.
friend argues with me, and I'm like, it's very obvious to me, and as another cinephile, I assume it's obvious to you, and I'm going to want your verification.
Oh, okay. And what would that be? I'm actually really curious.
Okay, so, like, when you have the automatic weapon scene, Costello's got guys in the rafters with shotguns trained on the Chinese. It's super obvious. They show it.
Yeah.
And my buddy's always like, that's not what's, like, is that what that
hey.
is? That's not what's going on. I'm like, that's really obvious.
Hey, Sean,
like,
you remember these when you had to remember how to text
like,
to...
this is skill of an insane level. To be able to do that without eyes.
I used to be able to do... I had a flip phone like that, so I did that, too.
But
could
to
be
do
able
it without
to do
being able to look at it? Ooh.
I could do it. Or at least I used to be able to, back when I had a flip phone. But for the record, I had one for the longest time. I think I finally got one in like 2011. No, not even that. I think I finally got rid of my flip phone in like 2015. Yeah, it was really late in the game. But yeah, I remember you being able to do that. Let me see what you were talking about with those weapons.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's right here.
Because technically, shotguns aren't automatic weapons.
I know, but it's the fact that like they're being covered, and my buddy didn't agree with me.
Hmm. Well, I certainly didn't have a hand in that. Okay, yeah, now I remember that Scorsese actually wanted the directors and the stars of the movie to cameo as these guys, but for some reason they couldn't. That is the one thing in this movie to make it even more awesome, is if they had the original cast and crew of the original Infernal Affairs to cameo as these guys.
Yeah. So right here.
Yeah. With automatic weapons.
Because they're trying to be intimidating.
Yes.
But
now he's got a revolver, so that's not auto.
right, but
God. In this country, it inches to your dick. I love that line.
so right here, you see, it feels like they're at a disadvantage because they don't have automatic weapons. But watch this cut. Those are Costello's men.
Yeah.
With rifles pointed at all of them, the Chinese.
Those look like shotguns, actually.
Yeah, they're right. They are, but that's my point. Is that Costello isn't worried because he's got them flanked and they don't know it.
Yeah.
And my buddy never read it that way. He was trying to say that's more Chinamen, and I'm like, no.
No. And besides, how many of them are on the actual floor there?
Right. Why would you have your guys turn their guns on yourself? Like, I always bug me that he just does not read that right.
Oh, shit. Matt Damon's like, smell a rat in your midst. Oh, and this is one of my favorite insults. You know, I really can't tell if now I'm gonna have to like go back and like take a look at the close up of those guys with the shotguns, because I actually can't tell if those are the part of Costello's crew or with the Chinamen.
Yeah, they have to be Costello's crew. It only makes sense. Also, that line has a really interesting callback later, because we'll get to it. The exterior of Costello's restaurant is actually in real life, like they made a laundromat look like the exterior of his restaurant. It's where an actual laundromat is in Beacon Hill, and I have taken pictures of it because I stayed right around the corner from there when I was staying in Boston for 5
Oh
weeks.
shit! I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if those were.
What?
They cut back to them. I couldn't tell. Shit. Again, I'm gonna have to really scrutinize.
There's no way. Why would they? Can't be. They're from the back, but it has to be Costello's people. That's why they have him flanked, and he's not worried.
Well, they also have a navy, so.
And right there, you're seeing people in the background that were not on the floor with them, so it makes sense.
All right, I'll go with it. Okay, now this I thought was really funny.
Oh yeah.
Can I talk to you for a second, please? Just come here. He doesn't even waste any time. So it could just be me, but I think that guy's fired. I don't know. I think that guy's just fired. Oh, hey, check it out. More X's. Because you know about the X motif, right? Yeah. About every character you see is marked by an X to mark for death, which is, you know, for those of you who don't know, that is a reference to the original Scarface from 1932, the Howard Hawks movie, not the Al Pacino one. But yeah, there's an X to foreshadow a character's death. So anytime you see a character with an X marks next to him, that's basically means they're fucking dead.
Yeah. Oh, and the girl right there with the backpack, Scorsese's daughter, I believe.
Yeah, I know, man. How many kids? Doesn't he have like 7 kids or something like that?
Oh, who knows?
Because he gets around. Because I do remember that when he won the Oscar for Best Picture for this one, he remarked that his kids are probably staying up way past their bedtime watching this and jumping up and down on the beds and he's like, just go ahead, jump up on the beds, make a lot of noise for Pops. So which I thought was really, really cute.
I do love the fact that if you remember the presentation for his Oscar for Best Director was presided over by Spielberg and Lucas.
Oh yeah, dude, I thought that was the best.
Those 3 guys on the stage together, that was really cool.
When you see your old college buddies going up to preside for Best Director, you fucking know you won right there and then. Like, and honestly, I'll probably put his acceptance speech in the comments below for you guys. But if you ever watched
and now GimMe Shelter comes back.
Oh yeah. Ooh, rape, murder, it's just a shot away. So apparently, like, if you ever watched his acceptance speech, the chemistry between Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola is It's exactly how you would expect your old college, like 50-year-old college buddies would be.
I mean, I watched it live, so.
Because wait, actually, wasn't even George Lucas there too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know it was like Spielberg and Francis were like, we know it's such an honor to be nominated and whatnot. And he's like, hey guys, I was nominated a couple of times, but I never won one. And
Right,
and he's like, well, and he's like, George is like, well, it's just nice to be recognized and not actually get the award, right, guys? And Spielberg and Francis just look at each other and they go, no, it's not.
Yeah, but Lucas could dry his eyes on those billions of dollars.
the Woody Harrelson meme of drying your eyes. Oh, man, this exchange between them. Who the fuck are you? Oh. Just the awkward pause where he's like, yes,
right.
Yes, I do. We got a cop in my crew. He was there, though. Well, it's true. I mean, seriously, it's like narrowed down to the people that were with him that night.
Right.
Get you? Who the fuck are you? I'm sorry, what? Oh, Jesus. That is so bad. Oh, I love that split diopter shot.
Yep.
I really want to do... I love it when they do those kinds of shots.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so coming up, so there's a lot of really great little scenes and really... But honestly, I think probably the best of what Thelma Schumacher and Martin Scorsese are famous for over the years in terms of just sheer editing and storytelling. Honestly, I think what is probably their peak at what they've been trying to do for all these years is coming up in this next scene. Because in the background we have the choir going on, the church proceeding, and as a little Easter egg, that yacht in the background, that is the same yacht that they used in Wolf of Wall Street to be the Naomi.
Yep.
But that choir and the church event going on in the background is exceptionally important for how it transitions to the next scene. And I'll get there when we get there, but which is really it's coming up really close. Oh shit. Oh, it's not like you can get it up anyway, Matt. Yeah, the procession of angels, and the heavenly music, and now how it cuts to this next bit with Frenchie with the fireworks.
Yeah.
And the puzzle piece with the drugs, and boom, it's smashed immediately.
Yep.
All of these little inserts add so much poetry, like the last puzzle piece on the table next to the druggie. And by the way, that movie playing was called The Imposter, which is very, very appropriate. Frenchie using the fireworks to cover for the possibility of gunfire.
Yep.
And of course, even the use of the Dutch tilt. You know, that something's off, something's wrong. And even the use of needle drop, where when he pops him in the lap there, the music elevates and gets more intense. All of these little tiny pieces add to this perfect setup for a confession. That's what this scene is. It's a confession, and he sets it up, being a lifelong Catholic.
Yeah.
Scorsese sets it up with religious overtones at the beginning, and then immediately, as soon as he gets in the car, cut.
Yep.
Dude, the way that's all put together, that must have been like maybe 2 minutes tops, maybe.
Yep.
That is, it adds so much richness to, because honestly, you could probably film that same scene, and it would have been, you could make it so boring, which and it shouldn't be that boring of a scene anyway, because it's a big reveal. Costello's working for the FBI, but there are so many other ways to film it, and it just wouldn't have the same impact. But Scorsese adds so many new layers to that kind of reveal. Yeah, it's really hard to articulate. I could literally
but again, to talk about the direction right there, you have him at
the opera.
That moment. Well, right. We'll get to the opera in a second. But that moment where you're showing, like, okay, Costello and Sullivan have this, dad-son relationship. Now Queenan and Costigan are having this father-son relationship.
That's true.
Like, they're paralleling it there
love
intentionally.
This. I love where it just the camera has the two of them, then pans over to the other, and now it's the three of them. That's awesome.
This whole scene was the opera scene was Nicholas. Yeah, it was Jack Nicholson's idea, and I would like to point out that there is allegations that Jack Nicholson used to have freaking crazy coke parties and would have women do coke off his erection. So
are you sure he's not? Are you sure he's doing? I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going below frame in that one shot where he's
he throws coke at his girlfriend, whatever's crotch, and has the prostitute go at it. And I'm just like, is this even Costello, or is Jack just being Jack?
Yes, the answer is yes. Because, again, I've read the script for, the actual screenplay for this, and this is probably one of my favorite one of my favorite scenes in the movie, just based on the screenplay, because that scene where he just gives that look of, clearly the hooker is, doing coke off his erection. Below frame.
Oh no, that's not off his erection. He threw the coke in his girlfriend's, in Gwen's crotch, and then sent the hooker to go lick it up.
Oh well. Either way, the point is,
I don't know how you missed that one.
The point is where the point is whatever's going off camera, is but the script for that particular scene, it's literally just this: interior, penthouse, or whatever, night or wherever. But it's just these two sentences: Costello fucks, and he fucks weird. That's all that they were given in the screenplay.
This cover of Comfortably Numb this scene, so perfect.
Oh man, comfortably numb, man. That's a song that has some memories with me, and I guarantee you they're just about as sexy as this. Shit. That's just a good song, man. Especially when even the original cover, when Roger Waters goes into his guitar solo, and it just
it's a great song, but it's on my depression playlist, not my Let's Get Sexy playlist.
Real? Oh, well, it does work for that too, but it just happened to be playing at a moment in my life that was whoo. I don't want to say anything on air because there were quite a few people involved.
Because you're engaged now, I get it.
Well, not just that, but yeah, yeah, good times. And besides, like, honestly, when you really get into, like, when it gets into the guitar solo, I mean, honestly, it's just about as powerful as Marvin Gaye's "Let's Get It On," man. Like, woo, but I can totally see why it would be on your depression playlist, because if you actually listen to the lyrics of that shit, it's fucking depressing. Especially because I take it you've seen The Wall, right? Many times, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that when that scene's playing, it's far from sexy. I tell you what. Man, the chemistry between these two. Whew. Is it me, or is like Leo DiCaprio just getting way more hot in this scene than in the rest of the movie? Because the looks that he gives with his eyes in this scene. Because editors are.
But right there, her response, her stare and look away. It's like she knows she's about to make a bad decision, but she's not going to stop herself.
And I also love how it cuts to this scene right here, because obviously there's some more scene to it, but it doesn't matter because it just that's the right cut to move into. Because I always like to say, like, editors are always fond of saying that editing is a dance of eyes. I think that's Walter Murch who said that. But in this case, really drives home the case that editing is all just a dance of eyes and hands. Whew, that's hot. And for as crazy and outrageous as most Scorsese movies are, the sex in them is always mildly tame. Remember, like in Goodfellas, like where it's really just like a real tame sort of thing, man.
That's not where his focus is.
That's
an accentuation. That's not the point.
No, it is so not the point at all. Although it does get sexy again, sort of, later on in the movie, in the theater.
See anything you like?
Oh my god, I love that shit. You know what's really sad? I hate how piggish.
Right, he is about the status of America.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I hate the fact that he's overly piggish and just so ew, but weirdly he's right.
Yeah,
that's the
awful.
Shitty part about it.
Well, that's his whole character. Like, he's a terrible person, but he's really doesn't tend to be wrong.
Follow the envelope. Oh, hey, there it is, man. Now, I forget because I know that Scorsese has worked with pornographic film before. Like, he'd used some in Taxi Driver and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But
like that.
I forget if this was like an actual porno or if they went and had like a B unit shoot some stuff. Because, let's be honest, this is kind of tame for a porno.
Yeah, it could also be the early scenes, but again, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say something interesting.
Shit! Oh fuck! The strap on. Like, what the hell, Jack Nicholson? Because we know that's all Jack. That is all Jack.
So one of the interesting things, Scorsese said this was his first movie he made with a plot. And when you think about it, it's kind of true because all his other movies are character studies.
Yep. It is true. Like, this is one of the few movies that actually has like a real plot to it. It's not just like all character, story.
Yeah.
Like there's an actual, consequences and
Yeah.
cause and effect sort of thing going on here. I guess that's what, maybe that's what was missing, really, that the Academy was like, your movies are great, but you're not that great. We need to have some logical reasoning in this. It just can't be messy all over the place character studies. You got to have a plot if you're going to win Best Picture.
Right.
So, do porn theaters still even exist? Well, I mean, now I know
I
they
don't.
I'm pretty sure they
know.
don't anymore. Like regular theaters are pretty much dead at this point, or at least on exceptionally
Life
hard
support.
high. Yeah. So, and plus, I don't think porno theaters are very COVID friendly. Let's be honest. But yeah, I don't know. Like even okay, so like let's just like rewind 3 years ago. Were porno theaters even a thing anymore?
Well, I mean, this movie is about 15 years old now.
Yeah,
so...
it's 15 years old this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
So
even,
I don't know if they were around then.
I don't even know if they
It's
were.
never
around
been a place I've gone.
No,
so.
no. Although the only thing that does make sense is like the fact that Frank is like, I own this place. I'm like, of course he owns
right.
a place like this. And I also love this line. I think that's the main reason why the porno theater has been kicked off. Like the fact that it's so easy to get, find pussy on the internet. What's the point of jerking off in a theater? Am I right? Especially since we all know what's going on under that giant trench coat that everyone. Why are all these people here? Who are these people? These have got to be.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know either. Okay, that sound effect where it's the the percussion. Every time I watch this, I always get fooled, and I always think that it's him getting up, and it's the seat making that sound.
Interesting.
And the fact that it continues over afterwards, I'm like, oh, it's a music cue, and I love editorially when movies mix their non-diegetic music with the diegetic sound, and it blurs the line between those two to the point where you're not sure where the non-diegetic stuff begins and the diegetic stuff ends. I love blurring that line. And I also love that Scorsese uses these slowed down shots, where because there are times where you shoot multiple at a higher frame rate to get that slow-mo effect. Oh, I love this right here. I think that's a reference to Chinatown.
Well, they're in Chinatown.
That's very true. Well, I'm talking about the movie. Oh, look, there's our red X.
I know.
Big red X in the silhouettes. That's very film noir. I think that's straight out of White Heat, actually, which was another big inspiration for this movie. But yeah, I love it when you blend that sort of thing to. And I also love the lighting with the smoke. It's a hellish red, a crimson red. And Scorsese knows how to use slow-mo too, like with his footsteps. That was in slow-mo. But when Leo's walking around, false. But when Leo's walking around, you can tell that they were shooting at 24 frames per second, but they slowed it down in post.
Yeah.
But they kept it anyway because I love it when movies do that deliberately, and because you can tell like when movies do that and they're like, oh. Whoops, we didn't realize you could shoot cameras at higher frame rates to get a slow motion effect. You can tell when novice directors do that. But when a skilled filmmaker does it, because it has a certain dreamlike quality to it. It has a certain emotional reaction to it. I think one of the most blatant misuses of it was in Jaws: The Revenge. When the shark blows up, and they clearly shot it at 24 frames a second, but they wanted to do a slow motion effect for post, but they didn't shoot it right, and they were stuck with the footage. So they're like,
Yeah.
fuck it, it's just going to look terrible. We got to get this done. I got to get paid. Moving on. And it looks fucking terrible. I love this drawing. I wonder if...
Yeah, rats.
Yeah, I really wonder if Jack Nicholson sketches those himself.
I have no idea.
I would not be surprised if he did, honestly.
I love these scenes though. Like
I know the
accusation inquisitor type scenes are so good.
I know that like 90% of this is improvised, and it's just Jack Nicholson having the time of his fucking life. Because I imagine when he spits onto the drawing and whatnot, I imagine that was genuine looks of shock on Leo's face. And seriously, man, Leo DiCaprio's performance, especially in this scene, cannot be understated. This actually, I know this was like a big moment for him acting-wise, but just on screen in the context of the movie and as a performance piece, this actually might be his finest scene he's ever done.
Yeah, it's the delivery from both of them here is just, it's beyond.
And I love how he's just, I'm going to kill everybody. Everyone who works for me. Fuck this. Because really, just look into each of their eyes.
Yeah.
And you can see who these people are deep down. You can see the anxiety and the fear hidden deep down Leo's psyche of his character. And you look in Jack Nicholson's eyes and you can see black evil, and that could just be set off by anything at any given moment.
I love that. Does great, breaks the tension, causes misdirection, and then acts like a fool for a second, and then just, what's up, bitch?
Right? Like, shit. Oh man, I can't. It's riveting, man. Because look, one of the great lessons that and the fact that he burns the thing too.
Yeah,
that's
partially,
almost unceremoniously too. And I also love how, I think as an artist, Jack Nicholson understands that when he starts burning it, the smoke will rise, and you can see the hellish evil that he is. And he also gets to be a little goofy with it,
Well, yeah.
But the smoke adds that, hellish, simmering, evil anger that he's got seething underneath. Because, one of the great lessons that I learned in film school is that the camera does not shows no lies. And the fact that these actors can portray the amount of depth of panic and fear in Leo's case, and pure homicidal rage and evil in Jack Nicholson's eyes. The fact that we can kind of pick up on, even if you could literally watch this scene on mute in like a bar and whatnot, and just walk in just in the middle of this scene and then walk away from the scene as soon as it's over, and you will understand every dynamic that's going on.
I love that moment there where it's like, where his responses, Koskins' responses, are spot on and accurate enough that they've calmed Costello down.
Yeah.
He's not quite, he's no longer on board that I need to kill this kid, I'm super suspect. It's like, maybe this kid's on the level. Like, I'm still suspicious, but I'm not quite so about it.
And that's the real skill of William Costigan's character. And he also somehow is able to answer these impossibly cryptic questions that Frank gives him. You know?
And what a great answer. Yeah, I think I could be you, but I'm not trying to be you.
Yeah. Heavy lies the crown sort of thing. And the intelligence that is portrayed through these guys, too. Seriously, dude. Like, the unpredictability of it. Like, killing a fly. That's another great line.
And he eats the fly!
Ugh!
Right there, French blinked.
Oh, okay. Well, even so, it's still unsettling. Yeah. And then fucking Jack here. This is just Jack being Jack here.
Yep.
But he doesn't blink here, and that's always he doesn't lose eye contact at all, man. Fuck.
Such an amazing scene.
I love it, man. Seriously, you really could watch this on mute, no subtitles, in a bar. Just come in at the beginning of the scene, and as soon as it cuts away, you can walk away, and you will understand every dynamic that's going on in this scene. And that is always, always, always the mark of a great film. Is if you can watch the movie on mute and understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
That's really the true.
And I mean, just look at the subsequent scenes, like the conflict there with Dignam, their time to it all. You could put this on mute and have a very good idea of what's going on.
Yep. Although it's great that we don't watch these on mute and we just watch it on our headphones, because it's also the playing with the sound effects that really because there's a moment coming up.
I love that you always hear the phones ringing in the background at the police station.
Yep.
I love it. It's because that's such a normal sound to hear in that environment.
But that little bit right there where it just punches in and then it cuts away, because I don't know what it is about punching in on something and then immediately ripping away from it.
Right, but they did that in line with showing the office, so it's like it heightens like this is where they are, this is the sound for it, but now we're back to these two.
Well, my point is that Scorsese and Thelma, they tend to do that quite a bit. Like, they have this signature push in and then cut away, push in and cut away, just like this weird. It's a weird way of jerking the audience around, as if on like a cinematic roller coaster.
So coming up right very shortly is a subtle part that to me is super important.
Yeah.
And I'll point it out. I forgot to have this nice intimate moment here.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great lessons in film in this movie.
Well, I mean, they're both so conflicted, and they don't want to tell each other what they're conflicted about. And so you have this moment where they're both internally struggling, and it's reflected in a different conversation here.
Mm-hmm. Because this is another really great cinematic lesson in how to film intimacy. Not sex or anything, just intimacy. We actually, one of my favorite lessons from film school was we had to shoot a scene of intimacy where we were given a script that was just line exchanges, and we got to interpret how it would play out. Some of them were good. I actually got to act in one of them, which was interesting. Right.
Okay, so right here. That exterior, that is actually a laundromat, and was literally a block and a half from where I was staying in Beacon Hill. So this is the exterior of that restaurant there.
So I imagine this is a real special locale for you.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, I got my pizza across the street from there several times when I was in Boston.
So while you were waiting out there,
right there is what's so important. Person not found.
Oh, shit.
That was the first one.
Yep.
And now here, keep going. Here we come.
She must be a cop. Did you do that while you?
It's a juxtaposition. They're looking for cops, talking about cops. Like, they're talking about cops in this silly way while he's looking for cops.
Yeah, okay. And also the casual blood on his hands.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Look at I think he's got the right reaction. He's like, what the, I'm just going to look at it like, what the fuck, but not say a word. I also love the way he walks. He really looks like he's ready to butcher someone. What? So while you were waiting for your pizza, did you just like stand around and people watch to be like, "Oh, that's a cop. That's not cop. Oh no, that's not not a cop. You're not a cop."
It was winter, so no, I waited inside.
I gotcha.
It was before COVID.
Gotcha.
All right, this is what's important. There's two, Costigan and another one.
Yep.
This is the only time you get the other proof that Delahunt, the guy who gets shot and killed, actually was an undercover for another association. That's why there were two persons not found. It's not a question, but this is showing, not telling. It's the only way they tell you.
Yep.
And if you don't pay attention and catch it, you miss it. And I love that about this movie.
Well, something else there was probably one of my favorite shots in the movie, where it's the X in the background with the beams of light crossing one another, where he's on the phone. That's one of my favorite shots of the movie.
Sorry, I was on one of my
things.
It's
it's cool.
I've had so many people ask me, "Do you think he was actually a cop?" Fucking duh! They show you right there.
Yep.
Yes, Delahunt was a cop for another organization. Like, this is not hard.
But in all fairness, it's actually kind of brilliant to frame him as a cop so that as Costello was like, the cops are saying he's a cop, so I won't look for the cop.
Right, and it's brilliant, but like they only give you this little bit to show you that no, he actually was a cop. And that's so brilliant, but you have to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just it. So many people I know, it's just like, and not to be rude, it's like, learn to watch movies.
Yeah, for real, man. All right, now we got the, I actually remember watching this for the first time. I thought, oh man, this must be like the big third act. Like, there's weirdly like a fourth act in this movie, isn't there?
So they had to take the red line, I think, about 100 times to get all the shots they needed for this.
Oh, I believe it. And so this was actually shot on location. This must be one of the actual stuff from Boston.
Yep, on the red line in Boston, which was the line I took most often when I was staying there. So very familiar with it.
So have you ever taken the New York subway?
Yes.
Okay, so which would be better, taking the subway in Boston or New York?
I mean, I like Boston's better just because it's mostly elevated where I go, so you got to see a lot.
Oh, okay, cool. Whereas New York because New York subway is its own animal.
Yeah, it's not all elevated, but it's like it comes out and is elevated when you're crossing the river, and it's really cool and beautiful, and so it kind of depends where you are and what parts. But I like any systems where they're above ground at all.
Man, I love the cuts of just the static shots of Boston here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I wonder if this location is actually one of the few ones in Boston. Because I know that they had to shoot like almost 70% of this movie in New York for the tax reasons and whatnot, which is totally, totally a thing for filming. If you've ever made movies, tax incentives for locations are always a thing, regardless of where the actual story takes place. That's why you have movies constantly in Vancouver. But I do wonder if this is actually in Boston. I think this is actually in Boston.
I think the roof has to be. How you can't have that background.
Well, at least you're right. At least the background, because you can't, because that skyline is definitely not faked.
Yeah.
But I want to say the entire building, like this entire location building, is actually in Boston, like including like the interiors.
Yeah, but I think it has to be like called something different. But Or it's New York and we're all just blind because we don't know the skyline well enough.
Maybe. Well, you would know better. You were there. And
yeah, but I mean, I didn't see the skyline from the harbor very much. I wasn't really at the harbor.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I was too busy cursing at the street, because I still say that Boston is the worst place to drive ever. It's a city that was built before a time that cars were made. All the streets are one way. They haven't been maintained since the 60s, and there's nowhere to fucking park. Boston
yeah.
sucks for driving.
Oh yeah, dude, Beacon Hill is all brick streets still. Brick streets.
Yeah, man, and that's rough on the tires.
It's rough on your ankles just walking them.
Oh my god, yeah. I actually, my grandmother was in one of the last few places in Illinois that still had its original brick roads. Like, she lived on the street that had the original brick roads. I don't know if it's still there or not, because she's moved since then. Shit. And again, as a real...
I love it.
Yeah,
real Catholic does the genuflex,
because he's probably going to get popped. Oh, shit. He's trying to play it off and be cool, but nope, these guys are not here to fuck around. And, of course, if you didn't believe the X's were a motif...
Yup.
But the silence. And then the splat.
All over him.
Jesus. The silence preceding that is so effective. Scorsese does silence a lot better than most people. And there's a moment later in the movie where he truly shines as a director for his use of silence. And there's actually a wonderful video essay called The Art of Silence with Martin Scorsese on a video essayist that every fucking filmmaker needs to watch in full. Every frame of painting. Have you seen those video essays?
I haven't.
I'm gonna have to send you a link, dude, and you're gonna have to binge them, because those essays, sadly they're no longer making any videos, but the video essays that they've put out on YouTube, I have learned more about cinema from his videos than 90% of what I was taught in film school.
Well, you should send that to me, and you should also put it in the link below this video.
Oh, absolutely. I'll put the link of The Art of Silence in there, and you can also check out the channel too, because the amount of education in those videos is completely invaluable to any cinema lover. So I actually thought for a second he actually ran over the body. Nobody missed just by that much, but oh man, can you imagine if they actually went the extra mile to get like a Martin Sheen body just so they could run him over? Like, damn. Although the only other thing that sticks out in my mind on that scene is the obvious CG bullet hits and the glass shattering. Because when you see the glass shatter in the back window, yeah, the glass falls and shatters onto the pavement, but the glass is still clearly there. But it's okay, because again, it's all about the intensity of the scene.
Right.
Okay, this is the point where Matt Damon's character completely loses any credibility, because when he's like, I can investigate anyone I fucking want, he's like, dude, you look like a child right now.
Yep.
Damn.
See, that's nice though. It's like he's kicking him out, but he's paying him.
Yeah. Again, remember, Alec Baldwin's character, he's a pig, but he's also does the right thing, weirdly. It's so weird because you can tell this
Yeah.
guy is not an ethical person for a he is not necessarily very well. He is professional, but he's not. It's weird. It's really he's walking a really weird line in terms of professionalism.
Oh,
and
again,
this
is
scene.
the wonderful actor from Shawshank we mentioned, who's also a cop, which we only really know for sure because he also did have a file that was found.
Yeah. But now that you mention it, because it's totally implied that, yeah, he really was a cop, I wonder what that means when he figured out that he's the inside man. I wonder it's like...
like right here with
yeah,
Costigan?
because he's like, I gave you the wrong address, but you showed up anyway.
But see, this is him trying to let Costigan know.
I just want to know, though, is... I'm just curious if he... if he's like, I'm with the FBI too, like I'm with.
Well, no, but see, but that's why he's like, tell me why. Like, don't you get it? I'm with you. He's like, tell me why you didn't tell no one, huh?
Whereas
that was him trying to be like, I can't say it. Get on my level.
Yeah, but whereas in this context of the scene where, William was like, oh my God, I almost got fucking made. And thank God this guy died, or otherwise I would have had to off him.
Right, but he doesn't know. But at the same time, it's like, that's what he was trying to clue him into. Like, I'm with you.
This movie is such a fucking mind fuck of identity. And,
Yeah.
That's the real theme of this movie is identity. Oh, and by the way, Mark Rolston, that was the guy who just died. But we also we remember him in another great movie of ours, not just The Shawshank Redemption, but he was also in Aliens as the big guy. Remember, he was the one guy who was clearly with the Latino woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was him too.
I love the homophobic implications here.
There was like a weird interpretation out there saying that Costello's like closeted gay or like closeted bisexual.
Well, I mean, yeah, that was what that whole point was. Like, he got really offended the second she brought it up.
But in all fairness, a person like Jack Nicholson playing this kind of role, when you really get down to it, considering his character, where wouldn't he put his dick?
Well, yeah, and at the same time, like for me, it's he gets off on the power game.
Yeah, that's true. No matter who it is,
being violent, like destroying people, like that's when you see him, going crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when he popped that woman at the airport in the beginning of the movie, he totally had a huge hard-on.
That's why you should really see somebody.
Oh, I know, right? And then the dude, proceeds to chop them up into tiny bits. Like, the guy suggesting that he needs therapy proceeds to chop them up into tiny bits. It's like the woman from Airplane. He's like, oh, Lord, no, I would never do drugs. Snorts cocaine. Oh, man, the blood on the phone. Okay, so... the moment that I was talking about how Scorsese deals in silence, it's this scene right here. Because...
yeah.
Cut off, the music is gone. There's no music for the rest of this scene.
Oh, man, I never caught that mistake.
What's that?
The blood smear is different from one shot to the next, from the close-up to the wide.
The
talk button.
Oh, well.
But it's fine. It doesn't matter, but I never caught it. First time I ever noticed it.
So I remember someone doing a comparison to the original Infernal Affairs. This scene is in the original as well. But there's music, and it's supposed to be playing with music. But here, it is totally silent. And I love this scene is probably one of my favorites because it's just them listening to each other breathing. on each end, not knowing what to say.
And it's time to
Holy
get his
shit.
bug out bag and run.
Now look at the way they edit, how he skips and jump cuts. Like those jump cuts, that was like another inspiration for my editing processes later in life. Specifically the way that montage itself. Because again, the greatest of movies, Sean, are teaching movies.
Oh yeah.
And this movie can teach you so much about expressing oneself through cinema. And now they finally get into the conversation. Oh, shit. You gotta love how cool these guys are now.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole first phone call should have been the red flag, honestly.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised that, William picked up again. Because honestly, if it were me...
Well, his only other option was to go permanently on the run, and that's not a great option.
In all fairness, though, he probably would have lived if he did make that decision, though. Because if he had just, hung up the phone and then broke it in half and then just ran, he probably would have gotten away scot-free. Although, granted,
but then he's away scot-free with a criminal record.
That's, yeah. Just like Dignam pointed out, once your file's gone, you're just another sucker out there to be wasted on the streets by either gang members or police. Oh, and here's another... Yep. Now he realizes that he's a FBI informant. All right, now this is probably the funniest scene in the movie. And I love how Jack Nicholson's full range is on display in this movie. From drama to comedy to intensity. How do you find him obsessed? This shit right here, man. I tell you, dump a body in the marsh. You dump them in the marsh. Oh my god!
That one line that kind of dates the movie. The reality TV line dates the movie.
I don't care. It's funny as hell.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Jesus Christ! I still use that every once in a while. I'm like, don't laugh. This ain't reality TV. Yeah. More Dropkick Murphys, man. What? Also, wasn't this song fresh off their records too? Because I think that this song for their album was 2005 or something like that.
Yeah, it was fairly recent.
And now it's completely synonymous with this movie. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, well, I know you're an informant, so fuck you all the way. I'm gonna take you down tonight. I mean, he's not wrong. And again, with the music, it's one of the main parts of the mix right now. Really big and loud. And then as soon as he walks in, cut. Oh, man, I love it when they do that. It's counterintuitive to what you're taught, but it really fucking works.
Yep.
Oh, shit, son. Going full Wild West on these motherfuckers. Or rather, going full IRA, motherfucker. Oh, man. Though, seriously, don't mess around with the IRA. Those guys are nuts.
I'm sympathetic to them.
Okay. I just don't want to get on their bad side is what I'm saying.
I mean, I wouldn't either.
I should probably stop talking about
English.
I should probably stop talking about them now, actually, because I fear like, they're listening in on this and they're just going to come in and raid my house and beat the living shit out of me.
Why? I support them. Fuck the English.
Okay.
English should get out of Ireland. They never should have been there in the first place. And we should stop now.
Yeah, for real. Like, I'm really scared now. Were you not in the car? I actually loved his the T-shirt that they gave him, which was the Irish. Yeah, just plain old Irish. Fuck, I just realized, I know.
I love the fact that he's got a whole brick for himself that he just took with him.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, man. You gotta have a little slice off the top for yourself, eh? See, that right there should have been the cue for Costello to realize that Costigan was a cop.
Right.
But, you know what? He was a little bit busy at the moment when he saw this shit. Damn! They don't even wait for an aura. They just mow these motherfuckers down.
Yep.
Bam! I love that shit. I don't know what it is about that shot where, the backlit shot of Matt Damon drawing his pistol. Yeah, right here again. But that just feels like something straight out of a film noir. Also, you notice the freeze frames there.
Yeah,
I love that.
Dude, the many freeze frames during this, they're wonderful. They vary in length, but they have a lot of those freeze frames, and it
adds so much to, for lack of a better term, the impact, and of course this. I mean, to be in all fairness, that's probably what I would do too. Just fuck it. Oh, yeah.
And by the way, your point with the X's, I like how they kind of cribbed it there, because you have the car backing up across an X in the background of the warehouse. So it's like, oh, we don't even have to do an individual. It's all these fuckers are about to die.
Yep, every last one of them. This is why you have to turn off your cell phone in the middle of a movie, Sean. Well, on the upside to that wound, at least it went in and out. Ugh. He does need a hospital, though. And although I still love how generally unfazed he is about being shot in the gut and being a 70-year-old man.
Right.
Like, damn. Is it also me, or but I always thought in this scene we just get to see a little teensy bit of Jack Napier from Batman come back. It might be the red blood on his lips or whatnot, but I always, especially when you see the corpse of him, he really looks like the same way he did at the end of Batman. Boom!
And I love the turnaround. He's projecting his own impotence onto Costello.
Yeah, pretty much. But, oh, man, the way he spits up the blood, man. That always is just like...
And it's the reverse. Like, Colin can't get it up, but he may or may not be a daddy, because it could also be Costigan's kid.
Fuck!
Costello fucks like a weird guy, but doesn't have kids.
Yeah,
like,
dude, it's that shot right there where he's just lying dead.
Oh, yeah.
That I just get flashbacks to the Joker from 1989.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. The Joker's death scene in this one do kind of feel mirroring. And the laughing bag, the ringing cell phone.
Yeah. Okay, now here's something that I always thought was weird. Watch her lips. She clearly said, "Where the fuck is Frank?" Like, why would you have to change that to "Where the hell is Frank?" Like, dude, you're already clearly a heart. Was the MPAA like, no, you have one too many fucks in here. You got to take a couple out, and that happened to be one of them. Like, what was? I just don't understand that. Because she's clearly saying, "Where the fuck is Frank?" I don't know. Like, because for all the shit that goes on in this movie, what's one more F-bomb, really? And besides, Scorsese went even more crazy with Wolf of Wall Street a couple years later, man. Was that woman he was ogling earlier?
I'm not sure.
Because if it is, that's a weird arc, isn't it?
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, shit. Don't you also love the fact that Matt Damon's bruise on his face is not from the giant crackdown where several men were killed, but it was just a scuffle with Dignam?
Shows you how hard Dignam hits.
Yeah, for real, man. He's like, yeah, whatever. Can I please go? Just get my money and go home. I am fucking done. Man, Leo's like just all of the done right now.
Yep. It's like I've been through this shit.
Well, I mean, for real, he has been next to
that line.
Yeah.
Being a cop is not an identity. Every cop should learn this.
Yo, for that, you're totally fucking right, man, dude. That's why look, it's not that we're against, police officers, and we're not like trying to backlash them or anything. But the whole Blue Lives Matter thing is just absolute garbage, honestly. Because it's not trying to promote police officers or the fact that we get the fact that they're in a job that lends itself to extraordinary things where they have to occasionally risk lives or be in really bad situations. Yeah, that's true. But but the system is clearly so fucking broken that if you don't realize that, that's not what you're all about, good cops should be like, this system is not what I'm about. That is not who I am.
I love, sorry, to bring it back, I completely agree with you, but to bring it back, I love the exchange here with how just exhausted and tired Costigan is.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like Sullivan just seems kind of lighthearted because it's like, he thinks he's getting off. He thinks he's done. He thinks he's getting out, like, hey, cool, like, I'm not dead, this guy's not dead, like, I'm gonna be able to pull this off. It's such an interesting juxtaposition. I really like it. And then this fateful moment.
Oh, shit. When he realizes...
And the music cue is so perfect, like, oh.
That's another thing, I mean, because, Scorsese's known for, his soundtracks and his use of needle drop in movies and whatnot, and it's wonderful, but people tend to forget this movie had, like, an original score by Howard Shore.
Oh, yeah.
Howard Shore, the dude who did Lord of the Rings, that's fucking score that we all love. But I love their choice of music in this, is that they wanted the theme throughout to be a loose tango. A dance, but a deadly dance between these cops and criminals, which I thought that's a really cool choice. I honestly never would have thought of that. If you hired me to make this movie, like if I'm 50 years old and have a career behind me already, and you had me direct this movie in 2006, I never would have made that creative choice.
Yeah.
Shit. You know what William should have done right there and then? He should have covered up the envelope, taken his pay, and then expose him, and not, give him, and not give him all of this, because now he's just gonna erase his file.
Right, but he has no allies. Remember that. He doesn't know who else could be in league with this guy. Dignam's not there. Queenan's dead. He has no allies. No one he can trust.
Well, that's why I was gonna say he should just take his money, and then do everything he can to get Dignam in, and then take him in. That would have been my play, but in all fairness, Leo's character is so William Costigan is so on edge that of course he would panic.
Yeah, what else is he gonna do at this point? Everything is fucked.
And you also gotta love that, the circle of Boston is so fucking small that the one person that he trusts happens to be the guy's girlfriend. Yeah. They both. It's that. It's the skit from Batman where Bane realizes, wait, you slept with her? I did too. Your dick was here too. My dick was here too. It's so dumb. It's so dumb, but it's funny. Have you seen that sketch where Batman realized? No. Oh, it's funny as hell. It's it's a parody of the moment where in The Dark Knight Rises where Batman gets stabbed by Talia and reveals that Bane was her protector back in prison and whatnot. And he's like, wait, but we totally fucked. Did you guys fuck? Because that's so fucked up. It's really dumb and stupid, but it's funny. I might put a link in the description for you guys just to enjoy that wonderful charm of stupid. Is that who? What is that? Where have I heard that quote?
I actually don't know.
Because I know I've heard that one before. Oh, and of course this revelation, where and I love how we have the suspense for a moment that we think it's what William Costigan gave him, and he's like, "Oh shit, I've been made," but it's not.
But I like the suspense more that you're just like, but whose is it?
Oh yeah, no, that's the other thing. Even though that suspense has been dropped, it's replaced with something else entirely. Yep. And by the way, are you pretty? Are you like? Do you think she knows that it's not his?
I think she doesn't know.
Ah.
I think that's what she was going to talk about with Costigan, and he's like, "Tell me in 2 weeks." Because I think she's knocked up, and she doesn't actually know whose it is.
I gotcha. Because I'm totally.
And see now she's freaking out because it's addressed to her guy. It's from Costigan. It's like she's worried that she's about to be ratted out for cheating on him, and it's like, so she's freaking out. She thinks her affair is about to come to light.
But it's for Costigan, not her.
Right. And that's just it. She thinks that he's about to throw her under the bus, and then this comes out of it.
Yep. And also, you gotta love that Scorsese put that CD inside of a Rolling Stones album,
right?
Just to be a little coy with us and Mick Jagger. You gotta love that sound quality, though.
And dude, this shot of just the slow
look of horror
around her with her expression, it's so well done.
Yeah. Although it's a little out of focus, don't you think? But you know what? That's the thing with Scorsese. He's like, look, there are technical issues with the shot, but I feel so strongly about this performance, I'm going to keep it anyway. Oh, shit. He's been made. In more ways than one. And you know what's really great is that, look, he could have been outed at work,
Right.
and it would have been damning, but it's far more damning to have her be the one to hear it. Sucker. That sound quality is fantastic, excuse you. Shit. Damn. And then this shit right here. Now, what I love is that it's a shot from behind with him, and we don't get to see his face.
Yeah.
Everything's implied. And it's also really smart that Scorsese never cuts into the bedroom with Vera.
Yeah.
We never get to see her reaction. Because even if it were me, I would have cut in and showed her reaction.
Yeah.
But he was wise not to do that. Just because you by not showing, by withholding the information, your brain gets to fill in the blanks, and it's far more satisfying that way. Wrong answer. Sure. Oh, boy. Damn.
I love that. He's just like,
Damn.
"Oh, I'm done."
Damn. The intensity in these two actors is riveting to watch. Come on. Oh. Oh, come on. Just help the guy out. I'm telling you, man, he shouldn't have made a move without Dignam.
Yeah. He really shouldn't have.
That's the main part that got him killed,
Well,
man.
Right, but at the same time, the Dignam thing's a bit of an issue and is complicated because they didn't adapt it too well, because that character gets killed with Queen in the original.
Oh, it did he? Oh, okay.
Adapted from, yeah.
So have you?
So
I'm actually. Did you see the original Infernal Affairs or any?
Yes,
the entire trilogy.
yes.
The entire trilogy.
Not the trilogy,
Okay.
but I saw the first one.
Okay, because I have not seen it yet. I planned on watching it, but I had a quick trip to the ER that kind of put that away. Long story, folks, but I assure you I'm fine now. It was just like a bug thing.
Okay.
But,
So,
oh, dude, this death.
When I first saw this, like, this blew me away.
Oh, Jesus. We're dreading it almost. Jesus Christ.
Just, oh man, like, it, first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell?
I know, right? It's definitely up there in like the top 10 most unexpected movie deaths of all time. I know it's got to be on like one of the Watch Mojo lists or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Cuz god damn. And if you thought that wasn't surprising enough,
Yup.
Don't you just hate it when the black guy has to die in these damn movies? You gotta really love the fact that in like 90% of the cases of characters of this movie, the cops are criminals and criminals are cops.
Yep.
Pop. Damn.
Which, I mean, that fits that character so well, though. Hey, we need to work together. No, fuck you. I'm doing this myself. I am not getting entangled with you, dumbass.
And this is also the ending that, you know, I've been talking a lot how great movies are teaching movies, but this, I took away the absolute wrong lesson, and that how a compelling ending for your short film is where everyone just dies. Look, it works here, but it just can't work in every case, man.
Right, yeah.
It's great and compelling in this movie because it fits the characters and fits the tone and is shocking. But when you have it just for the sake of shock value, it loses all potency.
That's why the original ending of Clerks had to be changed.
Yes. Oh my God, that was so bad. And Kevin Smith even looks back on it like, what the fuck was I smoking?
Yeah.
Ugh, so bad.
You don't suddenly turn your comedy into a tragedy in the last 10 seconds.
No, doesn't work. But this right here, I love where he puts together, he's like, the only friend that I've had is a police shrink. And she sees her at the funeral.
Yup, and
bawling,
she's crying.
And that's where the math all comes together right there in that shot. That one little shift of the eyes is like he has gotten the equation, and now she knows it too.
But she you know that she knows he's a fucker who did it. Like, yep. She's just done.
Yep. I wonder if she actually has that baby. What a What a horrible What a horrible way to end her character arc, where she just becomes the single mom to to most likely William Costigan's kid. And where she's like, I don't even know who your father was. That's fucked up, man. Where you have to live with this kid who you're not sure is and
I love this, her cold eyes as she walks straight to the camera. Such a great decision.
But man, dude, I don't know if she would like want to abort the kid because he's like in fear that it might be his, because she wouldn't want him to live on, but she'd want William to live on. And that's
I love this moment right there. It shows that like
even his neighbors are like,
well, no,
heckin' sus.
Well, that's because he's a ladder climber. He doesn't belong in this building. He's not those people, and a person of their pedigree wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and of course the red X on the floor as well.
Uh-huh.
Because here's the moment. Where the fuck were you, Dignam? For real. So, justice is served?
Close enough.
Kinda, I guess.
And here we get the most brilliant lucky shot ever.
Oh, that wasn't lucky. That rat is digital.
Oh, is it?
It totally is 100% digital.
Are you sure?
That's 100% digital.
Huh.
That rat is digital. That was intentional. It was not a lucky shot or anything. That is 100% design, or as The Simpsons put it, the rat symbolizes obviousness.
See, somewhere I've read that they were doing cutaways, and it just happened to show up one day.
No, total myth. That is a 100% digital. Well, they shot a rat on a green screen, and then they added that in post. So that was digital, but produced by Brad Pitt. You know Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
He was supposed to be.
Supposed to, But he had a conflict, but he still ended up producing.
Yep. Which is cool, because goddamn. Oh man, this is such a ride, man, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
And of course, Jack Nicholson, man, hats off to him for probably his, as you said, his swan song, man. And so now watching it again with me, changed it all? And any expectations? Any new things? Anything? Yeah.
I mean, it's just little things, catching small little moments I hadn't caught before, but nothing that drastically changes the paradigm of the film for me.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, but I love it, and also, I mean, it's due a point of order.
Sorry, I had to shout out for Thelma Schoonmaker, who still is one of my favorite fucking editors who ever lived.
So one of the points I was gonna make is just the fact that I said I love this movie and that obviously I love Boston. I am a sucker for Boston films in general.
Okay.
Like I have like Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, I was about to say, man.
Freaking The Town.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Wasn't Boondock Saints also in Boston too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's less of my. I mean, I've seen that several times, but it's less on my rewatch list than others.
It's a little overrated for me, but that's just me.
Yeah, but like, there's. I mean, I love Boston. I love a lot of the movies I've seen set there. So, yeah, it's this movie just it just ticks all the boxes. It's so well done.
It's definitely a big influence on my editing sensibilities and my character study sensibilities. Not just in terms of what do I do, but what do I let the actors do,
Yeah.
And God, I really wish I could make more movies like on my own. But as Orson Welles is famous for saying, a writer needs a pen, a painter a brush, a filmmaker an army. And kind of hard to have an army when you're broke and it's the middle of a pandemic. But one of these days, I'm hoping to make another movie. And hopefully it'll be a quarter as good as this, because this shit is a fucking masterpiece, man.
It's so well done.
And now you mentioned that this is your favorite film by Martin Scorsese. How many of Scorsese's movies have you seen? Because I think I've seen about 70% of them.
Give me a second. Let me check on that. I've seen a bunch, but I haven't seen. I'm far from having seen all of them.
Yeah.
I know that much.
I still need to see like things like After Hours or Color of Money and Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Kundun.
Yeah, I mean,
Silence.
I have seen as I said, a significant percent of them, but I know it's far from all of them. Of the ones he's directed. Let me see.
Because I think I've seen roughly about 60-70% of his filmography. This one is definitely probably in like the top 3 for me, but it's not my absolute favorite. I don't think this is his magnum opus. That one belongs to another one, which we will be doing later on to end Mobster March. It is.
Yeah, looking at his work, I would say that I've seen probably 50%, maybe a little more.
Okay, yeah. So we're about.
But then again, he's done a lot of stuff where it's like it just hasn't necessarily had much of an appeal to me. And I will definitely say I think I've seen 100% of his crime movies.
Yeah, the crime movies are what he's most famous for. Actually, did you see The Irishman?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man, that's another modern masterpiece. Might have to do that one again. Although, That's going to be a long one because that is 3.5 hours long, so that might turn into a 4-hour podcast. I don't know. It's a wonderful cinema, man, but I don't know if I guess I'll just have to leave it up to the audience. Like when the time comes, do you guys want us to do The Irishman? Because that or any other. What are some other Martin Scorsese movies you'd like us to do?
Okay, so I'm going to ring in on this because I just rolled it back.
Okay, what's up?
100%. Those people with the shotguns are Costello's men, flanking in the upper areas the Chinamen.
I think we can finally put this one to bed, folks.
Like, I just still frame that. It's like, you know what? I'm settling this forever.
You're gonna fight your buddy Greg about this to the death, aren't you?
To be fair, I fight him to the death about every conflict we have.
You know what?
That's kind of our dynamic.
I guess you can dedicate this episode to him, and I can dedicate this to my good friend David Cagey, who, again, we've been friends since 3rd grade, man, and I know we don't talk enough, but I know this is still one of his favorite films, so I guess this one's going to be just for you, buddy. And you can, if you want to tag your buddy Greg online for this one when it goes up, feel free to do so. But he'll
probably just be pissed I didn't invite him along.
Yeah, I can imagine it'll be the same way for my buddy David too. So, but maybe next time. So yeah, you got any other final thoughts to say about this exquisite masterpiece of a movie?
I mean, I really don't. Yeah, just one little one.
Okay.
For me, such something that really makes a movie is how it holds up to time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 15 years, and this movie still hits. This movie's still amazing.
Yeah, dude, for real.
I mean, there are many, many Best Picture movies you can go and look at and revisit them 15 years later, and you're like,
that was okay.
Yeah, or it's like, man, that was really so much of its time.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like a time capsule rather than, something
like you ever watch Gladiator and you're like, wow, really, this one Best Picture? Like,
I mean, I still like it. However, man, I don't know how you start making a movie when you only have 27 pages of a script, but...
Really? I didn't hear that part about Gladiator.
Oh yeah, when they started filming, they only had 27 pages of the script firmly done.
Wow. Okay, so I have I have all my respect for Ridley Scott, but now I just have a little bit more for it now. Even though I didn't like the movie.
It gets even funnier. That whole strength and honor line that they're saying in the beginning. Yeah. High school motto of freaking Russell Crowe's high school. Like that was their tagline. He cribbed that and they kept it. Yeah, this ain't some Roman thing. It's a high school motto he just shoved in there.
So are we gonna have to do fucking Gladiator now one of these days?
Yeah, at some point, sure.
Fuck.
Look, I'll go off on Ridley Scott movies all day.
Fuck.
I enjoy them, but they're nuts.
Shit. Oh, maybe you might actually change my mind because I just did not like Gladiator, man. It was
but when did you? But I think so much of this and so much of cinema, it's when did you see it? What was your mind frame when you saw it? And where did you see it?
I saw it in high school. I think I rented a DVD off of a family video and I watched it, and because I was expecting a really epic kind of tale with, the classic sensibilities of old sword and sandal movies of the 60s, mixed with the slick production of the present and the intense filmmaking of a post Saving Private Ryan Hollywood. So I was like, okay, that was my expectation, and I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way.
We had very different expectations. So,
also, Joaquin Phoenix really rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sorry.
Oh, see, his performance is brilliant because he's so smarmy and disgusting. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That performance is amazing.
It was silly to me. It was really silly.
I thought his performance was absolutely great. Also, in relation to your whole reference to the sword and sandal stuff, man, I am so sorry, people. We've gone on a really weird tangent, but
it's Never Watch Alone. Come on, like this is the show.
I only saw those movies, like I saw them when I was young, so I didn't have an attachment to them from a standpoint of cinema. Like I saw Ben-Hur and like that kind of stuff when I was very young. We're talking like single digits still.
Yeah.
And I hadn't revisited any of them when I got into film. So seeing Gladiator as I, kind of when I'm really starting to really get into film on the big screen, because it came out when I was in high school with those shots and the effects and the weather and the lighting, like that was just like, oh shit. And, that was also my introduction to Russell Crowe. And I mean, he's a fantastic actor who's knocking it out of the park there.
He was okay. I mean, he didn't really blow my skirt up. I'm sorry.
Okay, but again, like, I wasn't much of a student at this point.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm getting into movies,
well, and
I see this in the theater.
You're really reminding me of my...
and I should say, it's the first historical type epic I got to see in the theater since my dad took me to Braveheart to see in the theater when I was 13.
Oh, okay.
So I now have a type, and I want more, and I hadn't had it in a long time, and here they're giving it to me.
Okay, that's fair. You just really reminded me of my my uncle Arturo, who fucking loves Gladiator, and we constantly argue about it. And now I feel like one of these days we're gonna sit down and watch Gladiator for one of these shows, and weirdly my mind's gonna change, and I'm gonna be like, fuck.
Okay, real quick. Is Arturo, your Uncle Arturo, older or younger than his sibling that's your parent?
That I believe he's younger. Yeah.
Significantly so?
Not really. Yeah, I think he's
good.
I think he's like in his 40s. I could be wrong. I don't see him as often, and I should probably give him a shot. He's from the Chicago area.
Oh, thank God. Look, I'm the more we have these talks, I'm realizing the age difference between us, and I'm just like, I'm really hoping your Arturo's not my childhood friend Arturo, because that would get real weird.
No, come on. Look, in movies, like, social circles are that small, but not in real life.
I moved to Maumee, Ohio from San Diego. 2 years later, a kid from my school in San Diego showed up in Maumee, Ohio.
I guess I'll just retroactively say, it's a small world after all.
Shit gets weird, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to make sure the weirdness doesn't go too far.
No. The reason why it got weird, because the weird meeting that you had with your friend, that's just because Ohio is just like a magnet for that sort of shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, well, it was so weird because it was just like, I'm just sitting there in school one day, and first off, it's real noticeable because we have a new student in Maumee, Ohio. I grew up in San Diego, so I grew up and I went to a school where Spanish was taught as the main language. So I grew up in a very racially diverse area, and that was normal to me. I come to Ohio, and it's really white.
Yeah.
And here I am in middle school, and we have a new student who's black named Christopher, and I'm just like, wait, Chris? Like from Longfellow? He's like, Sean? We thought you died. It was like, what the hell?
You know, life really is just about as strange as a movie sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is.
It gets weird out here, man. It's weird.
Well, we are trying to we are done with fucked up February. And that's why we're gonna continue with Mobster March. So that said, I think we can.
Which is just a different kind of fucked up because the mob is sick as hell.
Yeah, it is. So that said, I think we'll cap it off here, and you guys can join us next week for another mob classic. And this one is. Honestly, I think this one's going to be a really popular one for all you guys. I won't say a whole lot, but there's probably just as many F-bombs and I guarantee you more cocaine in this next one. So we'll leave it off there, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Never Watch Alone. So, I've been Tim.
I've been Sean.
And you'll never have to watch a movie alone again. Peace.